A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
In just a moment, Suspense with Ray Milland.
Say, Harlow Wilcox, do you know what day this is?
Do I know what day this is? Does a dame know what a date is? Does a truck driver know what a spark plug is?
Well,
Why, listen, my Autolite friend. This is the day you plagued me with silly questions when I tell you about Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite stay full batteries, Autolite ignition systems, and 400 other Autolite...
I guess I got you, Harlow. That's not the answer.
Why, Hades, ladies, of course that's not the answer. Here's the answer. This is SP Day, Autolite resistor spark plug day. And furthermore, it's the day before T-Day.
T-Day?
Sure, that's tomorrow, Truckers' Day.
Oh.
The day all the American Trucking Association fellows get together in Washington to chin, chuckle, and chortle over their carefree careers as their trucks cross the continent with no thought of trouble or terrain.
Well, how come?
Well, my friend, I wouldn't say that Autolite spark plugs and stay-full batteries are wholly responsible, but, well, use your own judgment.
I'll take your word for it, Harlow. Now let's switch to Suspense.
Suspense.
Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations bring you radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Starring tonight, Mr. Ray Milland in Anton Leader's production of Night Cry by William L. Stewart. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Report to the captain of the Homicide Bureau, Manhattan. From Detective Lieutenant Mark Deglan. You know, we always say that the cat waits for the mouse to run, the dog waits for the cat to run, and the police wait for the killer to run. But if he's a smart killer, a real smart guy, he doesn't run at all, but just stands and laughs, or even walks quietly and easily away. He can really get away with murder. There's a lot of murder around Homicide Squad besides the stiffs we work on. Like the knifing I got when they passed me up and made you, Lieutenant Knight, an acting captain and head of the squad. Funny how a little promotion goes to a guy's head. It was Friday that you got your promotion, and that evening, after you'd sent for me, I had to warm a chair outside until you were ready to see me. Remember?
Captain Knight will see you now, Lieutenant.
Well, that's sweet of him.
Come on over and have a chat, Deglan. Mark?
Sure. Why not? Congratulations, Captain Knight.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, Mark. You know, I didn't want this. I didn't do anything to get it.
Sure. Of course, playing golf with the commissioner's brother-in-law had nothing to do with it.
You know it didn't, Mark. The force isn't run that way. Now, look, I've worked with you for a long time, and there's no reason why we can't get along fine.
Sure, no reason.
I'm the first to say that you're the best man on Homicide, Mark. And, well, it's not my place to tell you, but I think you ought to know the reason why you didn't get the promotion instead of me.
I'm listening.
You know, Mark, the police department has come a long way from what it used to be. Now, take Homicide. It's no longer a question of one man going out and sapping some poor devil until he gets a confession. All of us, detectives, identification, lab men, telegraph, the medical examiner's office, we're all one big team.
You know, that sounds like the commissioner's number 2 speech for the Rotarians.
But it's true, Mark. And that's why the police board didn't give you this job. In an age of cooperation, you're still a one-man force.
How many killers did I bring in during the last 5 years?
Every one you went after. I know that, and so does the police board. But a lot of them had marks on them that they didn't have before you went after them. And some of them had to be carried in.
Sure, but I got them, and quick. Some of them I even had booked before that team you mentioned got around to deciding what killed the victims.
I know
that, but there's always a chance that the next time you'll bring in some guy who had nothing to do with it. Yes? He's on his way. It's a call. Now, you and Riley will take it. Now, look, Mark.
Yeah?
Riley's a good teammate for you. He's proud of the force, and he'll be just as proud of your work as his own. And we'll talk about this later.
Sure. After I bring in another killer. Where's the killing, Riley?
In the 70s, near Riverside, gambling joint.
Something got rolled at 7 the wrong way?
Could be. Mark, I was sorry to hear about
forget about it, Dan. If I'd wanted a desk job, I wouldn't be a cop. I'd rather bring them in than look at them after they're brought in. Go on, let's go. And for a minute, I didn't mind not getting the captaincy. There was something about being on a job, about starting out to look for a killer that beat anything in the world. We got to the big brownstone that was the gambling joint. Riley and I walked up the front stairs through the rain. The patrolman on the door let us in. There were 3 guys in the foyer. One of them was a good-looking guy in a dinner jacket, with a look in his eye that probably came from watching a lot of guys try to make a four the hard way. The second was a patrolman, still writing in his notebook. And the third was a guy on the floor, dead. He was partly on his side, and there was a knife in his back. He was wearing a suit that had cost plenty before he spoiled it by bleeding all over it. The patrolman saluted as we came up.
Corcoran, sir. The doorman called me off the beat. The dead man's name is L.O. Morrison. Mr. Carlstrom here is the owner of the club, and he says...
Save it, Corcoran, until we ask for it.
Yes, sir.
What do you think, Riley?
He's dead, all right.
Well, take another look at that stiff. He's got a fresh cut over one eye, which he must have gotten before he was killed.
Yeah, you're right. He wouldn't be that bruised if he got it when he was killed.
Well, let's find out how he got it. All right, you.
Yes, Inspector?
Not Inspector, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Deglin.
Oh, yes, I've heard of you, Lieutenant Deglin.
Well, stick around and get some first-hand knowledge. What kind of a joint is this?
Well, this is a private club. The members have their own keys and let themselves.
Oh, a key club, huh?
Yes, that's right.
Who'd the dead man have a fight with?
Well, I don't like to say this, but he had a fight with Kendall Payne. I asked Mr. Payne to leave.
Kendall Payne, isn't that the guy who was a war hero?
Yes, that's right.
War hero, huh? And he's still fighting the war. Well, having a key could come back after you threw him out.
Yes, he could have come back.
Was he alone?
No, Miss Morgan Taylor was with him.
Where does Payne live?
Well,
Here's his address book, Lieutenant. Payne is in here.
Thanks. Okay, Dan, you can finish up here. I think I'll look up this war hero.
Mark, don't you think you ought to wait for the medical examiner and the ID boys to arrive?
Why? I don't need the ME to tell me this guy is dead, nor identification to tell me he had a fight with Payne. This murder's tailor-made, and I'm going down and try Payne on for size. There was a short street just off the Hudson River where a lot of artists and dock wallopers lived. There was a dim light in the hall, and I went up the stairs. Light spilled out from under the door that had Payne's name on it, and I knocked.
All right, it's open.
He was sitting on the bed. He had an army kit bag open and partly packed. There was a white bandage over his right eye, and the drawers of the bureau were open.
Now, what do you want?
Little talk. Your name Payne?
Yeah. You're not anyone I know. Beat it.
We'll get acquainted. This badge will introduce us.
You know what you can do with that badge.
You know, I almost forgot you were a hero. How long you been here, hero?
Maybe an hour, and I go on. Get out.
How'd you get to be a hero, Payne? With a knife?
Look, I don't know you or your badge. Now go on, get out.
You're a tough little punk, aren't you, hero? Especially tough for a boy who's just killed a man.
What are you talking about?
Where's the dame you were with? Maybe she can tell you about the guy you had a fight with, then went back and killed.
Look, you keep her out of it.
Look, Sonny, you were maybe tough overseas, but back here you're just another meatball. Now talk.
What are you, a tough cop? Well, let's see how tough.
Sure, I'm a tough cop. I hit him 3 times. No more than that. And fell. His head hit in the edge of the bed, then he slumped to the floor. His breathing was heavy for a minute, and then it stopped. I stood looking at him, rubbing my knuckles. And I reached down and felt his wrist. He was dead. Well, it was another trial the taxpayers wouldn't have to pay for. I got up, went to the phone I'd seen in the hall.
Night talking.
Daglin here. Look, I just...
Wait a minute, Mark. Hey, close that door, will you? Now that the case is broken, Mark, they're talking their heads off.
Case is broken?
Yeah, it was Karlstrom. He got panicky and started to run. You know, Riley, when they run, he shoots. He nailed him in the shoulder, and Karlstrom thought he was going to die and confessed. The dead man was into the gambling house for $50,000 and wouldn't pay, so Karlstrom stuck the knife into him. Hello? You still on?
Yeah. Yeah, I just dropped some change.
Did you find Payne?
I think he's cleared out. Clothes and the bathroom stuff's all gone.
He has. Well, he probably saw something. He didn't want to get mixed up in it. Well, we can always put out an alarm on him. Go home and get some sleep, Mark.
Sure. I'll get some sleep. Well, I hung up, walked back in Payne's room. I looked down at him. Thought what a lousy time to make a mistake. Well, there's only one smart way out. I had to bring Candle Payne back to life long enough to be seen taking a run-out powder. I needed some good, reliable witnesses. That way, I could get away with murder.
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Mr. Ray Milland in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Do you say so much about Autolite spark plugs in so short a time?
Why, that's easy, Hap. Do you want the high points and the lowdown on these master magicians, these motor marvels, these monuments to Autolite ignition engineers? Well, plug one ear and spark to this.
Well, if I must.
By Cornelius, I'll plug these Autolite resistor spark plugs anytime, any place. Do you want your engine to idle smoothly as a sultan's harem, purr as contentedly as a Persian kitten, run as tirelessly as a perpetual motion machine?
Well,
Then you want Autolite resistor wide gap spark plugs. Why, that wide gap in these new Autolite resistor spark plugs means as much to your car as Donald Duck means to duckdom, Chessie means to capdom, Lassie means to dogdom.
No.
Why, by Cornelius, when you replace your old narrow gap spark plugs with the new Autolite resistor wide gap spark plugs, your car refuses to be satisfied just to run better, save gas, and save dough. With Autolite resistor spark plugs, you cut interference with radio and television reception. That's important, mighty important. And what's more important, you ought to get all your neighbors to march right down with you to buy a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs tomorrow morning. Do it right away, Hap. Don't keep me in suspense.
Okay, Harlow. Here is Suspense.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Ray Milland as Detective Lieutenant Mark Deglin in Night Cry, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
As I said before, Captain Knight, the cat waits for the mouse to run, the dog waits for the cat to run, and the police wait for the killer to run. Only I wasn't going to run. I stood there and tried to figure how to have Candle Payne seen running away. After that, Payne would be just another guy who gets scared and beat it. And I'd still be Lieutenant Mark Deglin, the guy who didn't make mistakes. It took me a while, in the night and the rain, to do what I had to do. Quite a while. But I finally got to my own apartment. I still had Payne's kit bag with his name stenciled on the side, but I could get rid of that later. I tossed it on the floor behind my desk and went to sleep. When I got to headquarters the next morning, it was late. Payne's disappearance had the DA demanding we find him. Dan Riley was already out trying to trace Payne, and I could just imagine him bulldogging along from one witness to another. And then you said...
Suppose you go up to Connecticut, Mark, and talk to Payne's girl, Morgan Taylor. Just routine.
Just routine? Okay, I'll take care of it. I found where Morgan Taylor lived from the Greenwich post office. It was a low, rambling white house set back from a tree-lined road. The girl who answered my ring had dark hair that came down around her shoulders, and wide gray eyes that were sure and young and lovely.
Yes?
You Miss Morgan Taylor?
Yes, I am.
I'm Lieutenant Mark Deglan of the New York Police.
Oh?
You know where I can find Kendall Payne?
Oh, the silly fool. He said something about leaving last night, but I thought he was just being dramatic.
When was this?
Well, I went down to his place with him last night after we left the gambling club. I've been seeing a lot of Ken, but I just couldn't keep on. He was always getting into fights and picking arguments, so I told him I wouldn't see him anymore. That's when he said he'd leave.
And that's the last time you saw him?
Yes.
But there's something else.
Well, yes. It wasn't time for my train yet, so I walked around in the rain. Then I remembered that I had a date to meet Ken in town tonight, and I went back to tell him I wouldn't be there. But he wasn't in his room. I had no idea he'd really left.
You think you might have gone back to the gambling club?
Why do you ask that?
Well, after you left the club last night, a man was killed. The man Payne had a fight with.
And you think he ran away because of that? Well, he might have. Ken was, well, pretty neurotic.
You in love with him?
Oh? I'm very fond of Ken. But that's all, Lieutenant. But I'd hate to think that anything happened to him.
You've no idea where he is now.
If you'll wait a minute, I'll go with you. I was just getting ready to leave myself. He might show up to keep that date with me tonight at Morney's on Bleecker Street. We can wait for him there.
She rode back to New York with me. And after the first few miles, we stopped talking about Kendall Payne and talked about ourselves. She was really a beautiful gal. I kept glancing sideways at her profile. Maybe this case was going to turn out better than I thought. When we hit town, I called you, Captain Knight. Remember? I was doing not mentioning what nice work it was turning into. And then Morgan and I went on to the restaurant.
Since then, I've just played around, I guess.
I know what you mean. Look, it's past 8, Morgan. What time was Payne supposed to meet you? 7?
Yes. It looks as though I've been stood up.
Well, he must be pretty scared to stand you up. If it were me, I'd risk even a murder rap to keep the date.
Thank you, Mark. Want to take me to dinner?
Well, it's a good thing you asked me. I was just about to put my handcuffs on you so you couldn't get away. I got into headquarters early next day. I just finished calling Morgan to say good morning and make a date for that night. And the desk sergeant said that you wanted to see me. I went in, and Riley was with you.
Well, we got a couple of things on Payne, Mark. We wanted you in on them.
Sure. Dan, that was a nice job on Carlstrom.
He was certainly a scared guy. You know, one thing about killers, they always make a break for it sooner or later.
Yeah, most of them do. What's doing on Payne, Knight?
I'll let Riley tell it. It's his story.
There's nothing much except I talked to a number of people who think they saw him. I got a couple of them outside.
Might as well bring them in, Riley.
Yeah, okay. Come on in, Gold.
Sure.
This is Captain Knight and Lieutenant Deglan, Gold. The Gold was a cab driver. He got out of bed to come down and help us.
Hey, sure, Chief. Anything to help you guys out.
Okay, Gold, tell them the story you told me.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I picked up this fare downtown last night about 1 o'clock. Big guy with a bandage over one eye. He's carrying one of those soldier kit bags, you know. Wanted to go to the station, Grand Central. Was in a bad temper.
Take a look at these pictures. Now, where did I put that other... Oh, here it is.
It might have been either one of these two. They look a little alike. Without the bandage, I couldn't swear which one.
Okay, thanks, Gold. If we need you later, we'll call on you.
Sure. Anytime, Chief. Anytime at all.
Well, pretty close. One of the two was a picture of Payne.
Who was the other one he thought looked like Payne?
An old newspaper picture of you, Mark.
Me?
Yeah. You didn't know I collected all your publicity, did you? It'd been funny if he just identified you.
Yeah. Yeah, very funny. Who's your other witness, Riley?
An old lady who lives in the house across the street from Payne's place. Will you come in now, Miss Meacham? Miss Meacham, this is Captain Knight.
How do you do, Miss?
How do you do?
This is Lieutenant Douglas. Mrs. Meacham, Mark.
I've seen you, Lieutenant.
You have?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, maybe it was when I was over to Payne's the other night, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't mean there. In the paper.
Oh.
Your picture's been in the papers a lot.
Yeah, I guess it has.
Mrs. Meacham, Detective Riley tells me that you saw several things the other night, things that puzzled you.
They certainly did puzzle me, Captain.
Do you see quite a few things in the neighborhood, Mrs. Meacham?
Well, some say that's all I do. Well, I say when a body gets old like me, there ain't much left but looking.
Of course. Now, what did you see the other night, Mrs. Meacham?
Let's see. Oh, that was night before last. Well, like I told Mr. Riley, I couldn't sleep. So I was up late, and I saw Mr. Payne and his girl go in. But I didn't see her come out.
You didn't see her come out?
I made tea. Might have missed her. I have to have my tea, you know. But I did see her go back in later.
How much later?
Oh, maybe half an hour, or maybe more. But before she came back, somebody else left.
Now, that must have been Payne.
Well, I don't rightly know. He was wearing a bandage and was carrying his kit bag, but he didn't wave to me.
Didn't wave to you?
Oh, Mr. Payne always waved to me when he went out. So it was mighty funny he didn't that time.
Well, maybe he just forgot. What happened after that?
No, sir, he never forgot to wave. Oh, well, anyway, about 20 minutes later, Mr. Payne's girl came back. She stayed just a little while and then went away.
That's very interesting, Mrs. Meacham. Is that all?
Of course it is. And that was a lot for a neighborhood where nothing ever happened.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Meacham. We'll call you if we need to talk to you again.
Well, I won't remember any more than I have.
Well, let's go, boys.
Where are we going?
I've been behind this desk so long, Mark, I'm getting calluses. I'm going over to Payne's room with you and Riley.
The room was as I remembered it, except there wasn't any body on the floor and the police technicians were there.
Now, let's see now. The old lady says she saw the girl come in twice, but never saw her go out. Any other way out of here, Riley?
Through the window.
Let's take a look. You men through with this window?
Yeah, all through, Captain. Found plenty of prints of some guy, probably this Payne. A few prints of a small man or woman.
Let's look at this window.
I stood watching. You weren't going to find anything looking out of the window. Maybe they'd see the pry marks in the wood and find the sash weights were missing. But that wouldn't mean a thing. Suddenly, Riley let go of the window and...
It almost took my fingers off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, Al, the sash cords have been cut and the sash weights are missing.
So what? Is that... I see what you mean, Dan. The river's near here, isn't it?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. We'll call the harbor patrol and see what we get.
So Riley had finally bulldogged into something. The walk down to the river was shorter than the last time, it seemed. The police tug was stirring the mud of the river bottom with its grappling hook. When Payne's body finally came up, the dirty water cascaded from the blanket shroud and the sash weights dripped in mud.
Well, that's that, boys. Payne didn't run away at all. Somebody killed him. I think we can wrap this one up fast.
How'd you figure that, Knight?
Now, it's easy, Mark. The girl had a fight with him. She's the only one seen going in the other night. Her prints are on the window. She probably killed him, dressed up in his clothes, made it look like he was leaving, then came back and dumped the body. It's the girl, all right.
But listen, this Taylor girl couldn't carry a big guy like that.
Couldn't she? She was in the ambulance service overseas, Mark, and carried soldiers around. Civilians aren't any heavier. I'm putting out a pickup on the girl.
Well, that's the way it was. I had an out, but it was the one out I didn't want. I didn't want the chair getting Morgan Taylor. Not when I wanted her. I'd have to fix it some way. I had to go home and think. Well, I hadn't been there long when... Morgan stood in the doorway, her eyes tired and frightened, her face white. She went past me without speaking and over to a chair. When she looked at me, I knew I was right. I had to find some way to save her.
Mark, I just heard. They want me for the murder of Ken.
I know, honey. Well, why did you come here?
Why? Why, because... Where else would I go, Mark?
But you're not forgetting that I'm a cop, too.
If you want to take me in, Mark, I'll understand.
I only want to take you one place, Morgan. And that's not headquarters. But I've got to take you in.
Whatever you say, Mark.
But I'll get you out, honey. You won't be in there long enough to remember even what it looks like. After they booked her at headquarters, I went back to the apartment. I had to figure out some way to save her and myself. But first I had to get rid of that kit bag. If she'd seen it, everything would have been ruined. Besides, it was stupid to leave it around. Then I had an idea. There was one way out. That was to write this report to you, Captain Knight, and get out of the country. Then, when she was freed, she could join me. She was worth running for. Only wouldn't really be running. I was walking away. Well, that's that. So long, Captain Knight. I won't be seeing you. I picked up the kit bag with Payne's name on the side, went down the steps.
Hello, Mark.
Riley, what?
I think I got a lead on the girl, and I thought you'd want to be in on the kill.
But I got it, Dan. I just turned her in.
What? Well, where'd you find it? What's the bag?
Oh, nothing, Dan, nothing.
Handle Payne. Mark.
Look, I found it.
Where?
In his apartment.
I was there yesterday, and we were all there today.
Look, what's the matter? Do you think I'm lying?
I don't know, Mark. Say, what time were you at Payne's the other night?
Look, Dan, I got something to do. Look, we'll talk about this case later, huh?
Wait a minute, Mark. That cab driver picked out your picture as well as Payne's. The old lady said she'd seen you. Maybe they knew what they were talking about.
Listen.
You weren't surprised when we found those sash weights gone, or even when you saw Payne's body dragged out of the river. Oh, there's nothing worse than a cop who's turned bad. Mark.
Get out of my way, Dan.
Hey, Mark.
I had to run. Everything had been crowding in all day. That cab driver, the old lady, the kit bag, and now Riley. Pushing in like a bulldog with his questions. I had to run and keep running. I had to get away before he could ask another question.
Don't run, Mark. Don't! You shouldn't have run, Mark. You know what happens when a guy runs. Thank you, Ray Milan, for a splendid performance. Mr. Milan will return in just a moment.
Say, Harlow, what about Autolite's, What about Autolite resistor spark plugs, stay-full batteries, ignition systems, and over 400 other automotive, aviation, and marine products?
Yeah.
Oh, let's save it for next week, Hap, while we salute the safest, surest, sanest drivers under the sun. And by Cornelius, I didn't say under the sod. That's the truck drivers of America, Hap. Dependable as a donut is dunkable, as a resistor spark plug is sparkable, as an Autolite product is superbable. Say, these wonderful truckers have got me wound upable. I'm delighted. I'm Autolighted. By Cornelius, I'm excited.
Harlow, before these good friends have been good-nighted, remember...
Autolite means spark plug.
Ignition-engineered resistor spark plug.
Autolite means batteries. Stay full battery. Autolite means ignition system.
The lifeline of your car.
here again is Mr. Ray Milland.
It has been such a pleasure to appear here tonight with this great cast of suspense actors, and I'm expecting almost as much pleasure from listening next week when radio's outstanding theater of thrills brings you Lucille Ball in A Little Piece of Rope, another gripping study in
Suspense.
Ray Milland may currently be seen in the Hal Wallace production So Evil, My Love. Tonight's suspense play was adapted from the novel of William L. Stewart, Night Cry, which will shortly be made into a motion picture. The music was composed by Lucien Moraweck and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. In the coming weeks, Suspense will present such stars as William Powell, Agnes Moorehead, John Garfield, Edmund O'Brien, and many others. Make it a point to listen each Thursday to Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills. And next Thursday, same time, hear Lucille Ball in A Little Piece of Rope.
This is the Autolite Suspense Show. Drive as if your life depends on it. It does. Good night. Switch to Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Arch Obler's Plays. On the winds of the night, we bring you a story whispered in the night.
Isn't that the village?
No, I don't think so.
It is, I tell you.
But Captain, the order says the village was won by a water hole. I see no water down there.
What is the difference?
But the orders.
I'm giving her orders. Drop down 500 feet. I don't want to miss the beggars.
As you say, Captain.
They're all the same anyway. What's the difference if it is another village? We need all our petrol to get back. All right. Level off. Hold it. 2 little presents, and home we go non-stop. I never disappoint a lady.
Should I keep surfing?
Of course. Of course. This is the moment I like, Marlowe. My hand on the release lever. The leader is right. Power is the greatest thing in the world.
I know it is another village.
Marlowe, you're a fool. What difference does it make? The orders were to teach them a lesson. Well, one village is like another. Those beggars down there are the same breed. Hold it steady. The lesson begins. There. And again. Climb!
The order said we were the machine gun, the master.
Machine gun what? 2 holes in the ground. Home, you old woman. And fast. She's very pretty. And not quite late.
The contribution of our youth to the civilizing forces is one which all history will remember. It is an evidence of the revitalization of great ideals, the true ideals of power and force and the everlasting glory of righteous might. Youth, our glorious youth, flying free in its newfound purpose and ability. We salute to you! We salute to you!
Captain. Captain, wake up.
What do you want?
The wireless is not working again. If you were to take over, I will fix it.
All right. Fog, huh? Marlow.
Yes, Captain.
When did the fog come up?
While you were asleep.
I do not like fog. Well, haven't you got that wireless going yet?
It is no use.
Huh?
Resistance burned out. There is nothing I can do. The fog grows thicker.
I have eyes, haven't I? Here. You take over.
I was expecting
Shut your mouth. Here. Take over.
All right. Captain, do you remember the time in the Plaza of Heroes they gave you a medal because...
Stop talking. Put her up high.
Might as well. No clear sky down here. Is this high enough for you, Captain? Or does it make you dizzy?
Are you out of your head?
When the fog grows very thick, you lose your head, eh, Captain?
Shut your mouth. I order it.
I was remembering something else. 6 months ago, when the Minister of War made you the captain, remember in his speech he said for courageous, skillful flying.
I warn you to stop talking.
For all these months, I wanted to ask you one question, Vittoria. Whose was the skill and whose was the courage? Yours? Mine.
When we are on the ground...
If we are on the ground, it will be with my skill. Mine. Look. The fog grows thicker and thicker. You can see with your own eyes. Thick fog. Our wireless dead. If I turn the plane over to you now, would you be as brave as the medal says you are?
Close your mouth. For the last time, I tell you.
The brave Captain Victoria, who never flies alone.
Shut your mouth.
In the sun, it is your mouth that dares. In the fog, it is mine. A frightening thing, the fog, eh, Captain? Like something alive that comes out of the ground and tries to pull flyers down to the hole in hell where they come from.
There's no way to close your mouth.
Why don't you blast a few holes now through the fog so we can see where we're going?
This is the last time you fly with me, Big Mouth. The last... Marlow. What? Huh? Marlow, the port engine.
Got the petrol.
What?
Petrol line broken. Close it down.
Marlow. Marlow, falling.
Get away from me.
Can't see anything. The fog.
Stop swinging at me, you fool.
Marlow, get me down. I don't want to die. I can't...
No, it's not a mark. Leave me alone. The fog.
See yourself. We're crashing it. I won't die. I can't.
Wait. Look. What? What I saw. Yes. They're over land.
No, there is nothing.
There is land, I tell you. I saw it.
Yes. I see it. Oh, I am safe. I won't die. I will get down. I will.
Down.
Down. We're down.
Yes.
I told you. I would get you out of this. I told you. Marlow! Ahead! The wall! Stop! The wall! Stop! Head. Victor. What? Oh, it's Marlowe. Where are you? So dark. Oh. I see you. Bed next to me. Marlowe. Victor. You all right? My legs. Legs broke. So, my own pain is less now. Oh, don't talk. Help. No, Victor. This honor is mine as well as yours. Huh? My legs, too. You lie. You're all right. You want me to be in pain. Stop it. Jealous of my honors. You always were. You... Who wants to listen to you? I want to know what I am. I want to know how badly our ship was hurt when we got here. For long I was unconscious.
I have the pleasure of answering your questions, good gentleman.
Who in Mother? Who's there? I don't know. So dark.
My name, gentlemen, is Frederick Gibbon, doctor of medicine.
Doctor? Doctor. My legs, the pain.
Pain is quite secondary, believe me.
But you must stop it. At once. I order it.
Order?
Yes, order. You don't know who I am. I'm Captain Victor.
Wait. I assure you I know your identities quite well, good gentleman.
What do you mean?
Your identification papers are quite in order. And now a little more light, perhaps?
Yes. It'll see you.
If you will pardon me.
No, stay. The pain.
Shut your mouth, will you? How can he help us until he brings light?
But the pain.
Pain. Did you expect to fall out of the clouds and wake up with the bands playing and a couple of women at your side?
I dare you.
You're a fool, Victor. Miracle happens to us. Smashing head on and then coming out of it with no more than broken bones. I tell you, it is a miracle.
The light.
Ah,
that was good. Only simple lanterns, but quite adequate, you will agree.
Doctor, whatever your name is, I am Captain of Aviation, an active duty for the commander.
I told you, I know.
And you know your duty. Set my legs. Do you hear me?
What is your business, gentlemen?
But you said you knew who I was. My identification papers. You said it.
Yes, I said I knew who you were. But what is your business, gentlemen?
Aviators. I'm captain.
Yes, a captain. But what is your business, Captain?
He wants to know what we do, Victor.
What is your business, gentlemen?
What is any aviator's business? To fly. But why do you stand there talking? My leg broken. Fix them.
Did you stop to fix the bones, Captain? After you dropped the bombs on them? What do you know of that? Your plane was smashed quite badly, gentlemen, but not completely. Yes, there were two miracles.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
That the crash did not kill either of you, and that one small messenger of your civilization that was strung to the belly of your plane did not blast you to death. Bomb. It fell to the ground undamaged, unbroken, all of its explosive virility quite intact inside of its metallic loins. Poetic that, eh?
One of my bombs.
Yes. One of your bombs. Quite unhurt.
But I'm hurt. Do you hear me? Fix my leg. Stop the pain.
But why? We here are like you, gentlemen. If bodies are broken, if pain is given, we go our calm way. We do not stop. Good day, gentlemen.
Wait. Marlowe, make him wait.
Wait, Doctor.
Doctor, come back. You can't leave me. Come back. I'm hurt. In pain. Help me. Are you crazy?
Yes, Captain. Yes, indeed. I am.
All right, Victor. All right. The pain. It grows less and less. Pain cannot go on forever. My legs are quite numb now. Yours will become that way, too.
The devil.
Strange day, this, huh? You and I were born of the devil to smash up another crazy man come to our rescue.
What time is it?
Time? Who knows?
That crazy old fool. Why does he want to talk?
Do not start asking me why again, Victor. For a night I have been thinking those whys, and I know less than when I started. The man is crazy, that's all. When one is crazy, there are no whys.
He can't keep me here. Not me. I'll kill him.
Wait. Listen.
People.
Yes. Must be a street right below the window.
Get to the window, Marlowe. Get help.
If I throw something through the glass. Yes, the lamp.
No, stop. Huh? You'll bring the crazy devil up here.
Our only chance.
No, he'll kill us. Do not throw it.
I will.
Hit it? Yes, you did. Good, Marlowe, good. Now, someone will come up here to help us. And that old devil, I will have him put away where he was. Huh?
Yes. I throw something through the glass, and everything below becomes quiet.
Why should that be?
Wait. Listen.
Like someone raising a ladder against the wall.
Yes.
Someone is coming. They'll help me.
Why a ladder?
You think it's the crazy?
You must have heard the glass breaking. Climbing up here to laugh at us.
No, it can't be him. My legs. I've got to have help. Daniel, I'm screaming.
Stop that! Look. Head coming up. Who?
No, it's not the crazy one. A girl.
Yes.
Come in, girl. Come in.
We need your help.
Yes, help. Call the police. Aviators. I am the aviator.
Come in, girl. We will not hurt you.
Don't sit there on the windowsill and stare at us, you fool. Don't you understand? I'm Captain Victoria.
Wait, Victoria. Wait. You frighten her. Come closer, girl. Closer. Look, my watch. I will give you this watch.
Pretty. You will give it to me?
Yes, of course he will. Give it to her, Marlowe.
Here, girl.
Pretty. You have other pretty things for me?
Yes. Here. Rings. My rings. There. Take them. Get help. Get me out of here.
Pretty. Oh, pretty.
You simple little fool. Try to understand. Get me help. Get me out of here.
Pretty things. I like pretty things.
We'll get you plenty of pretty things. Cover you with them. Just go back the way you came and get help for me. Quickly.
I had so many pretty things.
Yes, but hurry, girl. Go quickly. Get me help.
I want more pretty things.
In my pocket, huh? Let's see. It hurts so to move. I have nothing. Marlowe, you give her...
Oh, you know I cannot move.
Pretty wings.
Yes, the wings on my tunic. You can have them. Here.
Pretty.
Now go. Do you hear? Go get help.
Will they take these away from me, too?
What is she talking about? I don't know.
I had so many pretty things. They took everything away. All my pretty things. It dropped from the sky. And when it was gone, everything was gone. Everything was gone.
Stop crying. Who took what away from you?
From the sky. From the sky.
Marlowe. This one's crazy too.
time again to talk.
I'll kill you, I'll kill.
You know, that's why I like you, Marrow.
Well?
Your captain is so overly dramatic. Kill you, he says to me. It is quite foolish and unnecessary, don't you think so?
You devil, you're keeping me here, not getting help. What are you trying to do? Cripple me for life?
I am doing nothing.
What are you going to do with us?
Money. I'll get you money. Just get me out of here. Money.
In this community, those silly little pieces of paper and metal are quite useless.
Well, you're crazy.
True enough. But haven't either of you discovered the greater truth?
Truth? What truth?
That everyone in this community is crazy.
Everyone? Crazy?
Oh, yes, indeed.
It cannot be.
But it is.
No, you're the only one.
How many times must I say it? This is my community, and we are all quite mad.
Where are we?
Or normal, all depending on the viewpoint.
Where is this place?
That's my little secret.
Secret? What do you mean?
Quite a long way from your civilization, and a high wall circles us. Remember, your airplane crashed into it?
Oh.
You see, my dear gentlemen, a long time ago, the people of what was once known as the normal world decided that I wasn't quite normal, so they were going to put me away. But I escaped them. Oh, quite cleverly. And I decided to make a world of my own. That is, a world normal to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's simple. In a community where all men are mad, none are mad. Understand?
Get us out of here.
Quiet, Victor. Listen to him.
Yes, listen to me. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So I discovered this place, and I settled here. But after a while, I grew quite lonely. And I thought to myself, why shouldn't I find others like myself? People again I use the phrase, people the so-called normal world called abnormal. But it was quite difficult to find enough of them and to get them to come to my little utopia. Until you fixed it.
We? Madman. What have we to do with you?
I mean you and your kind. Remarkable how many people in this world became abnormal as soon as your sort began to... What is the word you use? Began to enlighten the world.
Marlowe, make him stop talking.
No, I want to hear him.
Yes, hear me out. Remarkable how many people became like I am as soon as the enlightenment of brutality and conquest and domination, and above all, the enlightenment of flying bombs came upon them. Oh, I soon had more than enough candidates for my little community. Yes, indeed.
You can't keep us here.
No, not me, you can't.
But you surprise me, good gentleman. This is the ideal place for you.
What does he mean?
I mean that here in my little crazy town, we live and love and kill as our fancy strikes, without even the necessity of slogans and catchphrases with which to quiet the conscience. Oh, you'll want to stay with us, gentlemen.
Not me.
I won't stay here, you crazy old devil, you.
But are you so different, gentlemen?
That's sane.
And so am I.
But your business, Captain. Is it sane to fly the skies, to bring death to creatures made in your own image? To kill women and children?
We do our duty.
No man has a duty beyond what he knows is right. And since you do what you do, it must be because you believe it is right to kill and destroy, with no more reason than the dictum of ambitious, power-mad men. So I assure you, gentlemen, you are one of us. And so you will stay.
No, you can't keep me here.
Against our will.
Yes, your legs will mend, so you must want to stay. For if you go and give away our little secret, that would be most unfortunate for the rest of us. Oh, it's very definite, good gentlemen. You must want to stay.
Not in a mad house.
Not me.
Gentlemen, good gentlemen, you make me weary and angry explaining. I tell you, you and yours are like us. The Prince of Normal Men said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." And you say, "Blessed are they that take with force." So how can you be normal?
If I had a gun...
A gun. Now, that's another thing. The Prince of the Normal said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." And you say, "Blessed are the war makers." Now that proves that you're like us.
Stop it! Out of
He
here!
said, "Blessed are they that are persecuted for righteousness' sake, and blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you. But you are the persecutors, good gentlemen, so you are one of us. I welcome you. We all welcome you. Come in, ladies and gentlemen."
Huh? Who are they?
Tell us who are they?
They are like you, the nobility of unreason. They have come to welcome you, gentlemen.
Hello. What? So dark. Leaving it for hours. The devil in hell, what is he up to?
Shut your mouth. If I go crazy, it will be you driving me to it.
You are the crazy ones. Bringing us here and leaving us. Planning our death. I know it. Marla, tell me. What are they up to?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
What's that?
What?
Someone came into the room.
No. No one.
Listen.
I hear. Who's there? Who's there?
Woman.
Yes. Who are you? What do you want? Victoria.
What does she say?
I don't know. She... What is it? What? Something is wrong. I can't see anything so dark.
Oh, no. I'm not afraid of her. The child. The child in her arms.
Oh. Come closer, woman.
What do you want her for?
She can help us.
Closer. Woman, closer. Woman, stop moaning to that child and listen.
Listen. Help us get out of here, and we'll give you money. We'll get...
Victoria, what? In her arms. Look, I can't twist around my leg. Woman, get away. Get away.
Victoria, what is it? What?
Arms. You said the child. No. Woman, get away.
Tell me what?
Bomb.
Eat a bomb.
Bomb. You have gone mad.
No. Now see for yourself, see.
Oh!
The bomb he stole us sent from our plane without exploding.
Come on, woman, get out of here with that thing. Get out.
Get out with that woman, get out. You set it off. You get off.
No,
yes.
Wait, reason with her. Woman, what are you saying? Why do you carry that bomb?
Baby. My baby.
Baby. No, it's a bomb. Do you hear me? A bomb.
Baby.
Put it down. If it goes off, it will kill you.
My baby. My baby. Something fell from the sky that day.
Victoria. She's crazy, too.
Oh, this is my baby now.
No.
My little baby.
No.
Baby.
Don't touch the percussion head. It will go off. Marla, get up. Take it away from her. My legs, I can't move her. No, don't touch it, woman. Don't.
Tonight's play, Crazy Town, was especially written for radio by Arch Obler and featured Edmund O'Brien, Charlotte Manson, Paul Stewart, John Brown, and Betty Kane.
Unsolved Mysteries. Out of deference to persons who may still be living, character names in some of these true unsolved mysteries have been changed. Few mysteries can compare in their intrigue with those mysteries that deal with the mind. And he is bold indeed who says that he understands that realm in which the mind holds sway, as witness the extraordinary case of the hypnotist. The scene is a famous newspaper correspondent's home in New York. The occasion, the publishing of a book dealing with better than 20 years of headline hunting. And Bob Howard, the newspaper man, is entertaining a few friends at dinner. Most of the guests linger over their coffee, but Jim Watson, another newspaper man, stands by the window looking at the new book.
I say, Bob, I don't find my favorite story in here. Didn't you send it in?
Yes, I did, but, well, it was leave it out and not get the book published.
What do you mean, Bob?
Well, my publisher said that they didn't believe the story, and they were sure the public wouldn't, and so, as I said, I either had to leave out the story or try to get some other publishing house to print it.
But you have plenty proof that the thing happened.
Well, that's what I thought. But you realize that there was no official record ever kept of the affair, and most of the men who were concerned are dead.
I suppose that's true. It's a shame, though. That was a swell story.
Hey, what is this story? I'd like to hear it.
So would I.
Go ahead, Bob. I can always stand hearing it again.
Well, it will certainly give you plenty to think about. It was during the war, and I was assigned to cover the Palestine front. What with fever and everything, the British losses had been heavy. And all the way from the ancient city of Gaza to the Damascus Gate, the Turks were in a very good defensive position. I'd never sent any news dispatches to my paper that the commanding officer hadn't put his okay on. And the result was that I was in on quite a few conferences. It was night, typical Oriental night, and the staff officers were seated in the old man's tent discussing the situation.
As the situation is now, gentlemen, we daren't advance. Just how many of these fever and dysentery cases will be ready for active duty in the next 30 days, I don't know. We'll hear later on that. The person will be over from the hospital with a report. But the main thing is we don't want to spend the hot weather here. The Turks are firmly entrenched, and yet we don't want to retreat.
No possibility of reinforcements, sir?
Not a chance. They need all they can get on the Western Front.
Well, if we could only get behind them at, say, LG.
Yes, Colonel, if we could, but we can't. And hoping won't change it.
Colonel McPherson reporting, sir.
Yes. Well, Mac, what is the medical report?
Afraid you can't count on very many, sir. Not for 90 days, at least. Those cases are pretty bad, but...
Yes, Mac?
Well, I hesitate to tell you this, but... we've just had something happen.
Yes, go ahead.
But I'd rather you come over to the hospital yourself and see for yourself, sir.
All of us?
Yes. Yes, I'm a doctor, but there's something happened over there that I don't know anything about.
15 minutes later, the staff officers are seated in the medical officer's tent. Through the mosquito netting, the long rows of cots are barely visible in the dim light of a lantern swinging from the tent pole. Colonel McPherson enters the tent, and behind him a nurse.
Nurse? Will you send one of the orderlies for Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
And have the patient moved to the officer's tent?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, you know we've been trying to do something for these shell-shocked cases. You know, these fellows who can't turn to the left or to the right or can't sit down without someone assisting them. You know the type.
Of course we do. I certainly do.
Well, recently we've been trying hypnosis, and Ahmed the Persian has been very successful. But tonight...
Here is Ahmed, Colonel.
Oh, splendid, splendid. Come this way, gentlemen. Gentlemen, this is Ahmed. Ahmed has studied medicine at Hamadan, and he has studied hypnosis under the famous German scientist who has taken a rest cure at Anzali.
Here is the patient, sir.
Oh, yes, yes.
And the hospital records.
Thank you, nurse. New the records. Name, Brown. Rank, corporal. Regiment, Army Service Corps Mechanical Transport. Classification, driver. That all correct?
Yes, sir.
Where were you born?
I was born in South Kensington, sir.
You talk no foreign languages?
Not me, sir. Not a blooming one, sir.
You're perfectly willing to be placed under hypnosis by Dr. Ahmed?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
All right, Ahmed.
You will sit down here, please. Now,
Close your eyes. Now, breathe deeply.
Achmet runs his slender fingers over Brown's forehead. The tenseness leaves Brown's body, and with a sigh, almost a sigh of relief, Brown settles back in the chair. Fascinated, the officers watch Achmet, who steps back, folds his arms, and fixes his gaze steadily on the man in the camp chair.
Your name?
Cedric.
You know where you are?
In the Holy Land.
You know why you are here?
To destroy the unchristian Saracens.
Who is your leader?
Richard.
Good heavens, he thinks he is in the crusade.
Quiet. Do not get him excited, please. Thank you. Now, Cedric, tell me, do you know this territory?
Yes, every inch of it.
Think deeply. Is there another road leading to Elgi?
Yes. Get the parchment and pens, and I will show. It lies beyond Elman. But parchment, I will show you.
Paper and pencil is placed before him. With eyes staring ahead and seeing nothing, Brown takes the pencil and begins tracing lines on the paper. Amazement fills the faces of the officers as the map takes shape. They hold their breath as the pencil stops.
Here, hidden among the red sandstone rocks, lies the other road to Elgi.
The other road to Elgi and victory.
What an amazing story. I can hardly believe it.
It is amazing. The amazing part of it was that the rough map that Brown drew that night covered most of the territory that was fought over during the finish of the war.
And the map was accurate? Accurate enough for the British to use in getting to Elgi?
It certainly was. In less than 24 hours, columns of infantry had moved into the red sandstone defile, and Johnny Turk realized too late that ancient Gaza was not, as they had supposed, an impregnable city.
Then was this Brown a reincarnation of Cedric?
Oh, I hardly think so. No, I don't believe that is the explanation.
Then you have an explanation.
Not my explanation, but I can assure you that I went searching for one.
In just a moment, you will hear a solution to the mystery of the hypnotist.
We'll be right back after these messages on When Radio Was. And now back to Unsolved Mysteries on When Radio Was.
Ladies and gentlemen, inasmuch as any solution must of necessity be supposition, liberties of time, place, and character have been taken in the solution for which you've been waiting. The scene is once again the home of the newspaper correspondent, Bob Howard, who continues his story.
Quite possibly, if someone had told me the story, I would not have believed it. But here I was, sitting there, listening to an uneducated mechanical transport driver speaking in the voice and personality of a man called Cedric, who'd undoubtedly served in the Crusades under Richard the Lionhearted.
There was no possible way in which the transport driver could have known of that defile through the mountains?
Not a chance. Even our intelligence didn't know of it. Although later on we did find a Bible student who pointed out that the children of Israel had used the defile in their fight against the Canaanites.
You said that you went searching for an explanation.
Yes, and found that there were other instances of similar happenings. The solution would seem to be that the spirit of this Cedric, who may have been killed in the Crusades, still lingered on in that vicinity after death.
You mean that the spirit of the departed Cedric could remain in that place through all these hundreds of years?
Yes. If you admit an external existence after death, then there's nothing remarkable in the spirit being there for hundreds of years, any more so than that spirit remaining there for only a few hours.
Well, I suppose that's true, all right.
Now, the hypnotist, in placing the transport driver in a trance, removed from him all control of his brain, and left his mind a condition into which the mind of Cedric could, for a time, enter.
So that the mind of this Cedric could use the voice of the transport driver to make known his identity and also his knowledge of the territory.
Yes. I found out in my investigations that there had been a similar happening in France. And as a matter of fact, right now in Hollywood, California, a group of medical men are investigating a young boy who not only seems to be the reincarnated brain of a long-dead Persian, But this boy can, while blindfolded, read and do almost anything that he can when he is not blindfolded.
Yes, it was his ability to do things blindfolded that first attracted the doctors to examine him.
Yes. And if it were not for that fact, the medical men probably would scoff at the reincarnation idea. I mean the idea that this boy could have any connection with a Persian long dead.
Well, it certainly gives one something to think about.
Yes, makes me wonder who and where I was in some dim and distant past.
And now, stay tuned for the mystery program that is unique among all mystery programs. Because even when you know who is guilty, you always receive a startling surprise at the final curtain. In The Whistler.
And I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
Yes, friends, it's time for The Whistler, rated by independent research the most popular West Coast program in radio history. And now The Whistler's strange story. Package for Emily.
As the gray convertible raced along the storm-darkened country road, Vivian Sedgwick leaned forward at the wheel, peered through the rain pounding against the windshield. Her arms ached from the strain of steady, relentless driving. But not once did she slacken her speed. Even as the car skidded around the curve, turned into the main highway that ran parallel to the railroad tracks, her foot remained on the accelerator, down as far as it would go. Nervously, she glanced at the clock on the dashboard. It was almost 3 o'clock. 4 hours since she left Evergreen Lodge in Lake Arrowhead. 4 long, harrowing hours. If she kept up this speed, she could reach Porter's Crossing by 3:20. And then it would be only a matter of minutes to Portertown and finally Sedgwick House. Yes, she had to be home by 3:30. And as her car raced on, Vivian found it difficult to believe that only yesterday morning she'd been a very happy young woman, busily packing for her Lake Arrowhead trip. Yes, yesterday morning there was even a song on her lips.
Always, lum-da-da-da-dee.
You want the red shoes, Miss Vivian?
Oh, yes, and the sandals, too, please, Bessie. Lum-da-da-da-dee.
You know, Miss Vivian, that's an interesting coincidence. The song you're humming.
What?
When Dr. Thorpe comes to call, seems I hear him whistling the same tune.
Well, you've a good memory, Bessie. Perhaps that's why you're the best maid we've ever had at Sedgwick House.
Could it be that Dr. Thorpe is going away for a trip, too?
You're also the most inquisitive maid we've ever had.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, Miss Vivian.
Oh, hand me that robe, will you, Bessie?
Yes, and here it is. I do hope you're going someplace that's real dreamy-like.
Well, I guess you can call it that. A friend of mine has a charming place at Lake Arrowhead. She asked us both up for a week.
I'm glad Dr. Thorpe will be able to get away from the hospital for a spell. Goodness, the way he's been driving himself lately, not eating properly.
Oh, the poor darling has been overworking. But you wait and see, Bessie. One of these days he'll be appreciated. He'll have a clinic of his own, a real clinic, the kind he keeps talking about. Well, there, that's that. Will you get my beige coat, Bessie, please? And the scarf, too, the brown one.
Yes'm.
And, Bessie?
Yes'm.
After I leave, will you tell Miss Emily I'll be away for a week?
I already have, Miss Vivian. last night.
Oh. What did she say?
She didn't say a thing. Not a thing.
That's not like her.
Vivian! Vivian! You'd best go to her, miss.
Yes. Take these things downstairs, will you, Bessie? I'll be down shortly.
The gaiety that filled your heart only a few moments ago is suddenly frozen. Yes, the bittersweet sound of Emily's voice can do that, can't it, Vivian? Reluctantly, you walk down the hall to her room. Emily, your stepmother, slightly older, much more beautiful than you, infinitely more dangerous. The woman who turned your father's life into a nightmare until finally he found escape by suicide. Now, the power of wealth, the Sedgwick fortune is hers. Emily can buy anything she wants. Even the one thing you want most, Dr. Kenneth Thorpe. That's why you've got to get him away from Emily for just a week and make him yours. Nothing must prevent that. Nothing. Emily is sitting up in bed, reading. She looks up, even with a weak heart that almost makes for an invalid. She's a beautiful woman, isn't she, Vivian?
What is it, Emily?
I'm expecting my package of sedatives this morning. Will you see if the mail has come?
You could have called Bessie to do that, Emily.
Of course. But I assumed she was rather busy getting your things together for your little trip. Oh, how I envy you, darling. The mountains are delightful this time of year. And Evergreen Lodge at Lake Arrowhead. An enchanting place, really.
Too bad you can't join us, Emily.
I can't tell you how happy I am that the hospital finally gave Kenneth this free time.
Been eavesdropping again, have you?
1 week up there at the lodge. With you, we'll make a different man out of Kenneth. Won't it, darling?
There's no danger of what you're thinking, Emily. He'll make it.
How nice. How very, very nice. Now you'll be able to discuss your dreams of the future together. Kenneth with his new clinic, and you, his noble wife, tidying up shop, bringing new little doctors into the world.
You can't stand it, can you? My father's out of the way. You have his house, his money. But that still isn't enough for your empty little life, is it?
Darling, your fangs are showing.
Whenever I'm near you, Emily, I like to dress for the occasion.
You'd like some of that money for yourself, wouldn't you, darling? So you could buy Kenneth his dream, his clinic. And that would be one way of getting him.
I don't have to win his love that way.
Then what is your technique? Being his sweet, adorable girl who uses all the advertised products?
Emily, you know I've loved Kenneth all my life.
Then I should think you've had more than your share. Now it's my turn to love him the rest of my life. Oh, dear, it's probably that hard Mrs. Fenway. She said she'd call. Hello? Well, hello. We were just this minute talking about you, Kenneth, darling.
I'll take it, Emily.
I was so delighted to hear about your little vacation. Oh, you'll love it up there.
I said I'll take it, Emily.
Oh, yes. Yes, she's here, Kenneth. Just a moment. He wants to talk to you, Vivian.
Thank you. Hello, Kenneth.
Vivian, I had to call you right away. The most wonderful thing has happened.
Oh, what, Ken?
Well, it's just unbelievable. I can't go into too much detail now, but the clinic, Vivian. I'm getting my clinic.
The clinic? Oh, that is wonderful, Kenneth. But who? I mean, how did it happen?
Well, the funny part of it is I don't know. A guardian angel, I'd say offhand. You know how some of these millionaires are. Like to stay behind the scenes.
Yes. Yes, I know. But how is it that you were chosen?
Well, I haven't been. Not exactly, anyway. First off, I've got to submit a formal report on what I think a modern clinic should be like. Have to start on it right away.
Right away? You mean the trip you...
Afraid so. I'll have to cancel it, Vivian.
Oh, but couldn't you work on the report up at the lodge? It's an ideal place, really. I could do the type.
No, Vivian. I'm afraid it's out of the question. I really should stay here in the event something pops suddenly. Why don't you go on ahead?
Oh, Kenneth, you promised. You promised nothing would interfere with this vacation.
Yes, I know, but... Vivian, I can't risk the chance of a lifetime for a week in the mountains.
No, of course. Of course, I'm sorry, Ken.
Look, I've got to run along now. I'll call you at the lodge in Adair's, huh?
Yes. Yes, do that, Kenneth.
Bye.
Ken?
Our little vacation's been spoiled, hasn't it, darling?
Your grief overwhelms me, Emily.
Now, darling.
I'm even more overwhelmed by your split-second timing.
What in the world are you talking about?
You honestly think you have a chance, don't you? You think you can get him away from me by buying him his clinic.
If Kenneth has been given a clinic of his own, this is the first I've heard of it.
It's a clever device, Emily. Keeping your magnanimous gift a secret. Oh, yes, let him be grateful first. Blindly grateful. And then at the right psychological moment, tell him he owes it all to you.
Really, Vivian, aren't you?
You don't deny it, do you, Emily?
Kenneth is a very desirable specimen of American manhood, darling. Think if I made up my mind, I might do anything to have him for myself.
Listen, Emily. You've taken everything from me, but you won't take him. I'm warning you. For all your charms, all your subtleties, you'll never get him away from me, do you understand? Never.
Back in your own room, you stand by the window, trembling with rage. The fury inside you, your hatred for Emily, mounts steadily. And then a figure at the front gate attracts your eye. The postman. And you watch him drop a small package into the box. Yes, Vivian, it's the package Emily is expecting. The harmless sedatives mailed from a chemical laboratory in the city. Suddenly your heart skips a beat. You stand there, staring out across the grounds, and a plan begins to form in your mind. Quickly you turn and run from the room. Moments later, you're in the downstairs hall, hastily throwing a raincoat over your shoulders. You open the front door and go to the mailbox. Yes, there it is, with a package safely hidden in your coat pocket. You return to the house.
Miss Vivian?
Oh, Bessie.
I was just about to go out for the mail.
I already have it.
Was there something for Miss Emily?
No, just a letter. For me.
But didn't Miss Emily's package of sedatives arrive?
No. Miss Emily's package didn't arrive.
And now back to the Whistler.
You've made a decision, haven't you, Vivian? In a split second, it all occurred to you. The moment you saw the mailman drop the package into the mailbox, the package of harmless sedatives for Emily, you knew you had to kill her. As you climb the long, narrow stairs to the turret, high above the rest of the house, to your father's den, you're certain it's the only way you can prevent Emily taking Kenneth Thorpe away from you. Inside the small room, you hurry to the desk, unlock it, and from the far corner of the lower drawer, you remove a small bottle labeled poison. You unscrew the top. A small white pill rolls out into your palm. One of the pills your father bought the night he killed himself. For a moment, you stare at it. Wonder why you've saved it. Wonder if perhaps you've saved it for yourself, or because someday you knew you'd give it to Emily.
Who is it?
Bessie, Miss Vivian.
Oh, come in, Bessie.
I was just wondering, will you be going up to Evergreen Lodge after all? Miss Emily seemed to think you'd changed your mind.
Of course I'm going. I haven't changed my plans in the least. Not in the least.
The moment Bessie leaves, your hands move swiftly, surely, unwrapping Emily's package, removing the bottle of sedatives. In a matter of minutes, you've emptied the contents of one of the sedative capsules at the top of the box and refilled it with the same deadly ingredients that took your father's life years before. You know the nature of the poison, that it doesn't lose its strength, and you feel strangely exultant as you think of Emily going in the very same way. And it's going to be simple, isn't it? Only a matter of rewrapping the package, applying the same address label after you've steamed it off the original package, and then remailing it. Yes, Vivian, the postmark, everything must be the same. Emily's package must arrive in perfect condition.
Vivian, you're leaving now?
Yes, Bessie.
Have a pleasant time at Arrowhead.
Oh, I will. I'm sure. Bessie.
Yes, him?
Say goodbye to Miss Emily for me.
An hour later, as you reach Los Angeles and drive toward the chemical laboratory that sent Emily's prescription, the freshly wrapped package with the laboratory's label on it is on the seat beside you. You park the car, enter the establishment unnoticed, and drop Emily's package into the mail chute. And that's all. The Los Angeles postmark will be on it now. Everything perfect. By late tomorrow afternoon, the package will be in Emily's hands. Now you can forget it. Put it out of your mind as you get back in the car and drive on to Arrowhead.
Vivian, darling! I was about to give you up. So glad you could make it, dear.
Well, the roads were rather bad. I had to drive slowly.
Oh, I thought you might have got mixed up, taking the road that led back through the city.
No, Florence. I came directly here.
Here, let me take your bag. Oh, you're alone? I thought your nice doctor friend was coming.
Oh, he couldn't get away.
Oh, too bad. Well, bear up. There'll be a big gang over tomorrow. I promise you won't be lonely. How's Emily?
Why, she's fine, Florence.
I know. Sorry I asked. Look, darling, while you're here, you just forget about her, understand? Promise?
Oh, I wish I could, Florence, but
Just do it, that's all. Now I'll show you your room. Upstairs, darling. Goodness, I'll bet you're dead tired.
Yes, I am. The driving all afternoon. I'd like to rest a while.
Of course, darling. And that before dinner, and you'll be as fresh as a daisy. I just made that up. Come along. Vivian.
Come in, Florence.
Dinner'll be ready in about... Well, what in the world are you doing sitting here in the dark? Thought you were going to take a nap.
Well, I just couldn't seem to quiet down.
Vivian, is something wrong?
Of course not.
Dinner'll be ready in about 20 minutes. Will you be down?
Yes. Yes, I'll be down.
And would you believe it, Vivian? Right in our own mad little group. His wife didn't know a thing about it. Of course, I'm so suspicious by nature, I should have caught on at once. Why, Well, what's the matter, darling?
I'm sorry, Florence. But you'll have to excuse me.
But, darling, your dinner. You haven't even touched the thing.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling very well. I'll be all right in the morning, though. I'll see you then.
Well, whatever you say, Vivian. Of all mornings to have bad weather. I'm sure no one will want to come over.
It does look like a storm.
Vivian, what is the matter with you?
Florence, I shouldn't have left Emily.
Oh, so that's it. You've had another spat.
I should go back right now.
Nonsense. You stay right here. That's the trouble with you, Vivian. You're always running back to apologize. Leave Emily alone. She'll get over it.
Oh, but you don't understand, Florence. I've got to talk to Emily. Florence, I want to use the phone, may I?
The phone? Oh, no, you're not going to call that dragon.
Florence, please.
All right, all right. You know where it is.
Operator, my number. Are you trying it?
I'm sorry, but that line is still busy. Would you kindly place your call later?
Busy? You're sure?
Porter 970 is busy, madam.
Oh, very well, thank you.
No luck?
I can't understand why it should be busy.
Oh, darling, nobody ever gets me. My line's always busy.
Yes, but Emily... I can't understand why today of all days her phone should be busy.
I still don't see why anyone should feel obliged to apologize to Emily.
I don't want to apologize. But I've got to speak to her right away.
Well, all right, darling, all right. Try the number again.
Oh, operator.
Operator?
Hello. Would you try my number again, Porter 970?
The circuits to Portertown are busy now, madam. I'm sorry.
Oh, Vivian, you're working yourself up into a perfect frenzy.
Florence, I've just got to drive back home. I've made a terrible mistake.
But you can call later.
No, I can't wait. Emily wasn't feeling very well when I left, and I've got to get back now.
All this sudden solicitude for Emily's a bit baffling. I must say
It's more than solicitude, Florence. And I've got to go. I must leave right away.
Leave? But, Vivian, I don't understand. You were going to stay a week.
I know, Florence. Oh, please forgive me. Look, I'll be back. I'll leave my things. But now, I've got to go, Florence. I've got to hurry.
Yes, Vivian. At the moment, all that's on your mind as you drive your gray convertible out onto the road is the fear that you might be too late to right the terrible wrong that you've done, to intercept Emily's package with a poison capsule. As your car races along the slippery road, the full horror of what you've done sweeps over you. You can't believe you actually planned to kill Emily, can you? It's impossible. You keep telling yourself it never happened. Yes, that's what you're thinking as your foot presses down harder on the accelerator. You're concentrating so hard you don't hear the shrill, frantic warning until just before the crash.
Vivian.
Oh.
Vivian. It's Ken, darling. Can you hear me?
Ken. Oh. Kenneth.
You're all right now. There was an accident. You're at the hospital.
Accident?
No, easy.
Kenneth. How long have I been here?
You've been unconscious for 24 hours. You kept calling my name. And Emily's. The doctor sent for me.
Where is Emily?
No, darling, don't you think about Emily. Just...
Kenneth. Where is she?
Please, you mustn't excite yourself, darling. Just...
Kenneth. What is it? Where's Emily?
I wasn't going to tell you, but Emily died last night.
The Whistler will return in just a moment with a strange ending to tonight's story. And now back to the Whistler.
too late, weren't you, Vivian? Too late to stop the terrible thing you started. And now it's all over. Emily's dead. Later that afternoon, an ambulance is bringing you back to Sedgwick Manor. You think of Kenneth riding in the car ahead. Kenneth still doesn't know, does he, Vivian? He doesn't know that you were responsible for Emily's death. Yes, you've got to tell him, haven't you, about the poison capsule. And you shudder a little to think of the look on his face when he finds out. As he carries you up to your room and places you gently on your bed, you realize you can't delay another moment.
Ken, there's something...
Easy now, dear. Better be quiet for now.
Oh, but Ken...
Shh, I'll do the talking. I haven't told you. I heard from Dr. Morris last night. You remember him, don't you?
Yes. Back east, isn't he?
Uh-huh. He called me about the new clinic. Seems he's been giving me quite a build-up to the people sponsoring the project.
What? They're in the east?
Yes, a group of Boston men. Well, Dr. Morris seemed quite certain the clinic could be mine.
But I thought that Emily...
What's this?
Oh, Kenneth, you must listen.
Oh, that must be my call from the coroner's office. They'll tell me the results of the autopsy. Be right back.
Oh, but Ken... Oh.
Hello? Yes? Yes, this is Dr. Flores.
Excuse me, Miss Vivian.
Yes, Bessie. What is it?
I just wanted to know what I should do with this package.
Bessie, where did you get that package?
It just came in the afternoon mail. It's for Miss Emily.
But that's the package I mailed her.
Well, the autopsy is just as I thought. Death by natural causes.
Oh, Kenneth, Oh, thank heaven. Oh, the package came a whole day late.
Package?
Yes. Oh, Kenneth, that's what I was trying to tell you. I mailed this package.
The postman said he was sorry the package came a day late. But you know what? He said it was your accident, your own car running into the train yesterday, that delayed the mail.
Music for The Whistler, composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch, and is the property of Herman Music Incorporated, ASCAP, Hollywood, California. Broadcast rights granted solely to Audio Arts Productions, La Mirada, California.
Presents Sanctum Mysteries, starring Simone. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is, of course, Raymond, your host. Please come in, won't you? Make yourself comfortable in a gloomy corner. We had intended to have a real surprise for you tonight. Instead of myself, we were going to have a guest ghost to act as host. But, unfortunately, this real ghost caught pneumonia, and he's in a very grave condition. The doctors have given up all hope. He's going to become alive.
Well, Mr. Raymond, I must admit I'm glad that ghost couldn't come.
Hmm?
It's difficult enough to talk to you. But heavens, I wouldn't know what to say to a ghost.
Oh, well, that's simple, Mary. All you have to do is find out whether it's a he ghost or a she ghost.
And if it's a she?
Oh, then you compliment her on her appearance. You say, darling, what a divine sheet you're wearing.
That's right, Mr. Raymond. The ladies are always interested in something new to wear. And right now, I'm going to tell them about something they'll all want. It's a lovely piece of jewelry, a real sterling silver medallion about an inch in diameter. It's the kind of jewelry you find at those smart shops on Fifth Avenue in New York. But the only way you can get it is from Lipton's. The medallion is decorated with a Chinese inscription, and it's hung on a narrow black rayon satin ribbon. That's the height of fashion this year, you know. And here's how you get the medallion. Just send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92, New York City. Yes, that's Box 92 in New York City.
And now it's time to begin. Our story is called The Black Art. It's an original tale by Milton Lewis. And our star tonight is that glamorous motion picture star, Simone, who'll play the role of Claudine. So, gather close and get ready to hear a sweet little tale that'll make you wake up screaming for at least the next 2 weeks. You all set? Now remember, if you don't want your hair to stand on end, get someone to sit on your head. Okay? All right, now let's hear Larry Gifford tell you his story in his own words.
I never heard that scream. I wish I never saw a body lying there. Blood all over the room. The knife on the floor near her throat. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget how I picked up the knife. I'll never forget the sweat that came creeping out all over me when I heard the door slam.
Stand where you are. You make a move, I'll blow your head off.
Don't shoot, copper.
Drop that knife.
Okay. What's your name? Larry Gifford. Look, I'm from Chicago.
Stranger, huh?
Yeah, what of it?
What's her name?
Her? I don't know. I never saw her before. Look, you don't have to frisk me. I haven't got a gun.
Shut up.
I know it looks bad, but you see, my room's downstairs. I heard her scream, and Give me back that wallet.
Your hands up. Roll papers.
What of it? So I'm an ex-con, so what?
You don't know, huh?
No, I don't. What have you got there?
Just a picture I found in your wallet, mister. Picture of her. And Larry. And all my love, Nancy. Reckon you forgot about this, huh?
Yeah, but look, I didn't kill her.
Shut up. I think I heard that scream and came up here. Hold out your hands.
Sure. You can have them.
Come back here. Come back.
Crowd the streets madly. They gathered when they heard the shots and scream. I was dumped in jail. Well, this was a little burg in the bayou country not far from New Orleans. I was the biggest thing that hit the town since Ripley's Believe It or Not. For them jerks, my trial was a bigger show than Carmen Miranda and Gypsy Rose Lee doing a trapeze act. In no time at all, they sentenced me to be hung. It was the night before they were going to take me to the state pen for the necktie party. I was sleeping, dreaming I was in Africa. They were beating them drums, tom-toms. Suddenly I woke up. Moonlight was shining through the bars of my cell. I listened. Someone was beating like a tom-tom on the wall of my jail. Who is it? Who's doing that?
Larry Gifford.
Yeah, that's me. Were you beating on the wall?
Yes. I'm under your cell window.
What do you want?
Drop one end of your tie through the bars.
Okay. There.
I've got it.
What are you doing?
Pull up your tie.
Okay.
Got it?
A gun? Yeah, I got it.
Good luck. Goodbye.
Thanks, baby. Whoever you are.
What's going on there, Gibbons?
Oh, nothing. Why?
I heard talking.
Oh, I was talking in my sleep.
Never done that before.
I never was going to be hung before.
What you holding there?
Come here, I'll show you.
What's that?
A gun. Yeah, and it's got enough bullets to fill your head with lead. Go there. Open that door. Open it or I'll give it to you between the eyes. Go on.
Don't shoot.
Okay. Now take your gun. Give me those keys. See how you like it in there for a while. Come on.
Stop him! This is a escape! Let me out! This is a escape!
The Blue Bottle Bar. Someone told me it was a good joint where they don't ask any questions. It was. I had a few drinks. I was leaning on the bar, looking at a paper.
What are you drinking?
Scotch.
Buy me one.
I gave it a once-over. I know something about dames, and she was dynamite with class. She was something.
Well?
Set up another, Charlie.
Cigarette?
There.
Thank you.
It's a nice cigarette holder. Must cost at least a C.
You know enough, don't you?
Enough? I know you.
Do you?
Sure. There's something about... Wait a second. Here in this evening's paper, your picture.
Oh, it's not a very good picture, is it?
After seeing you, no. Claudine Lucin, recently returned from France, elected head of art committee. Miss Lucin, member of one of New Orleans' oldest and wealthiest families.
I've read it. Turn the page.
Why?
I want to show you something.
Okay.
There. Larry Gifford of Chicago, wanted for murder, is sought by police after sensational jailbreak.
Better not read anymore.
Why?
Feel something against your side? It's a gun. I'm holding it in my pocket.
Don't be afraid. I won't give you away. Got a light?
Yeah. What do you want?
Listen to that music.
That tapping.
What about it?
The way you're tapping your cigarette holder against your glass.
I'm just keeping time to the music.
I heard that tapping before. Yeah, sure, in the cell. And I heard your voice before.
Did you?
You gave me the gun.
Let me hear you.
What's this all about?
You'll find out. Relax.
I can't. I guess I had a few too many. My head, I feel like I'm spinning around, getting dizzy. Two green eyes, pink with blood around the edges, looked at me out of a queer furry head. It was the head of a bat. It smiled. It had sharp little bat teeth that had pink on them. There was an ache in my throat. I looked again. It wasn't a bat's face. It was hers. Claudine. I was dreaming. Oh. Where am I?
My suite at the hotel.
How did I get here?
You passed out at the Blue Bottle. I brought you here.
When?
2 hours ago.
Oh, I must have been sleeping. I had the queerest dream. I thought... Oh.
What's the matter?
My throat. That pain. Like a knife. Those green eyes of yours. That red mouth. Those white teeth. Look, we're going to have a showdown right now. I'm... Where's my gun?
I took it.
Look, what do you want with me?
Nothing you don't want to do yourself.
Don't talk in riddles.
Have you Have you ever been in love?
Sure, dames are always falling for me. Why?
I guess that's what happened to me.
Are you kidding?
No. Do you think I'd get you out of jail for a while?
But I never saw you before.
I saw you at the trial. That's where it happened.
Oh, how can a dame like you go for a guy like me?
I don't know. But it happened.
I don't believe it.
I'm sorry.
Come here.
Yes?
Let me kiss you, baby.
Larry. Oh, Larry.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to do. Kiss a guy on the neck. Then wipe that lipstick off. Hey.
What's the matter?
Hey, Chip, that ain't lip rouge on my neck. It's blood.
No, you're making a mistake.
My neck's bleeding. What kind of a dame are you, anyway? I'm getting out.
No, don't. If you go, I'd tell him who you are.
Oh, you will?
Yes, and Oh!
You won't tell him for a while, baby. Grady's joint in the old city of New Orleans was just a place. She'd never find me in that dump. Nobody'd ever find you there. I got a room. I went to sleep. I was safe. And I heard it again. That same rhythm. It woke me up. I heard it, but I couldn't believe it. How could she know I was here? Or was it her? There was nobody in the room. I opened the door. Nobody outside. I slammed it. The beating stopped. I turned around. Looking into the muzzle of a gun.
Sit down, Larry.
How'd you get here?
My Grady ran to the room next to you. There's an electric door.
What's the idea of the gun?
Can't you guess?
You're going to kill me?
Maybe.
Well, you're going to a lot of trouble to bump off a guy who's going to be hung anyway.
Do you want to die?
No.
There is a way you can live.
How?
By coming with me.
Yeah. What else have I got to do?
Marry me.
You're out of your head.
You hate me?
No. No, I don't. I don't hate you. I'm scared of you. Yeah, I've never been scared of anybody the way I'm scared of you.
Scared enough to do as I say?
Maybe.
I had hoped you would love me.
Maybe I do.
You're lying.
No. No, baby.
It's no use.
Look, what are you going to do?
Kill you?
No, put the gun down. Give me a break. Don't.
Man, that Claudine's a kid of her words. When she tells someone she's gonna kill him, she does it. She'd make a wonderful wife for some Frankenstein monster. She's attractive, a good killer, and she has a well-developed thirst for blood. Hey, why should I hand her over to some other guy? She's just a girl from me.
Nonsense, Mr. Raymond.
Why, Mary Bennett, I believe you're jealous.
I am not.
Yes, you are. You're thinking what a handsome couple you and I would make strolling down the avenue, me dressed in a shroud, and you wearing your new sterling silver medallion.
Now, don't you go making fun of my lovely medallion, because I want all the ladies to send in for one. I know they're going to enjoy wearing it, because it's made of solid sterling silver, and it's really a fine piece of jewelry. Besides, there's a true story behind this medallion, an inspiring story. It seems that the original was given to an American flyer by Chinese guerrillas who rescued him after he'd bailed out over enemy territory. The flyer was told that the Chinese characters on the medallion would identify him and bring him safely through the lines. Well, he did get through, and only then did he learn that the medallion said, "Good luck," in Chinese. Now, there's a story to tell your friends. And to get this good luck charm, just like the one the flyer carried, all you have to do is send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92. That's Box 92, New York City.
Now, let's get back to our star, Simone, who seems to be making life hard for a guy named Larry. The last time we looked in, she had just shot him. But I've got a tip that that's only the beginning of his troubles. How about it, Larry? What happened then?
Went down in a heap when she fired. The bullets caught me in the thigh. I lay there, laid out like I was dead.
Larry.
And she fell for it. She bent over me, a gun in her hand.
Larry. Oh!
Take it easy, kid.
Let go of my hand.
Not till I get that gun.
Let go. Let go.
Get that gun if I have to break your arm.
No, oh.
Okay. Got it now. You shot me in the leg, but I'm still strong enough to get rid of you.
Larry.
I'm no angel, baby, but you're worse. Here's something I heard about, but I never believed. How'd you know I'd be here? How'd you know I'd be in the blue bottle? Go on, answer me.
I've got nothing to say.
No, you don't have to. Magic. Black magic. Somebody nobody'd believe if I ever told him. There's only one thing to do with you.
Yeah?
Kill you. But I ain't taking any chances like you did with me. When I kill you, you're going to stay dead. Those tom-toms are going to stop forever.
You think so, Larry?
I know it. Come here.
Larry,
Shut up.
No!
I knocked her out cold. She lay on the floor. Put the muzzle of the gun to her temple. She was so beautiful it made you shiver. Pull the trigger. I looked. What I saw nearly made me pass out. A little blue vein on the temple was beating. There wasn't a scratch on her. A little curl of red hair was twisted around her ear. Was I seeing things? I aimed the gun at her heart. Nothing. Not a speck of blood. I stuck the muzzle between her eyes. Shot till the gun clicked empty. I looked. The white skin on her face was more beautiful than ever. Had to get away. Out of the same city where she was, out of the same state, the same world. I let out for the open country, to the bayous on the river back in New Orleans. My wounds festered as I dragged myself through the swamps. Then I got a fever. It's like a nightmare. In my head, I kept feeling of tom-toms. I couldn't take a train or a bus or go to a doctor. I'd be caught. One night I saw a big house shining in the moonlight. I decided to take a chance. I knocked at the door.
What is it?
Sorry, miss. I was hunting. I had an accident in my leg.
Oh.
If you let me come in and call a doctor, I'd be very grateful.
You don't want to come into this house.
Can't you see I need help?
You'll never be helped here. There's nothing good here, only evil and fear. So go away, please. I'm warning you. Go away before my sister comes out.
What's the matter with you? Don't you see I can hardly move?
Go away while you still have the strength to crawl away. Now, believe me. Close the door, Bessie.
That voice.
That's my sister.
It's your sister.
How do you miss that? Good evening, Larry. I was wondering when you'd get here. You know him? Yes. Mr. Gifford and I are old friends. How can you have a friend now, Cassie? He's someone like you. You mustn't mind her, Larry. Cassie isn't quite well. I don't know who you are, Mr. Gifford. But I do know that she's brought you here to kill me. Cassie? I knew it would happen on a night like this when the moon was full. She's been preparing for it for months. I've told everyone about it, but no one will believe me. I've told them again and again, and they say I'm insane. They think I've lost my mind. But she is going to murder me tonight while the moon is full. She's going to murder me. Go to your room, Cassie, immediately. Yes. Yes. I'll go. I'll go.
How did you get here?
I live here. Come, Larry. You must know by this time that you can't fight me.
Yes, I thought I'd never see you again. I'm not well. I've got a fever. Hey, that tom-tom beating in my brain. I can't stop it. It's getting louder and louder. I blacked out. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a soft bed with clean sheets. Someone had dressed my wounds. The moonlight came into my room like a living yellow ghost. And I heard it. Just like the one Nancy made when she was killed. I limped out of bed, went to the room next door. It was Kathy. On the floor. Murdered. The knife was still in her neck. When I heard it again. The tom-tom. Queer sounding this time. I felt myself beginning to sway to the rhythm like a dancer. Then I did something I couldn't stop myself from doing. I put my hands down, drew out the knife. I wiped my bloody hand on my shirt. Suddenly I looked up. She was there. Claudine.
Drop the knife, Larry.
What have you got in your hand?
These? This came from the skeleton of someone who was once alive.
You're not a woman. You're a devil. I'm going to...
Don't come any closer, Larry. I don't want to kill you just yet.
Just yet? So we're close to the payoff.
Yeah. You're trembling, Larry.
Who are you?
There's no reason why I cannot tell you now. You don't believe, do you, that there are unseen powers that can be controlled? There's someone who knows how.
I can believe anything about you.
Thank you, Larry. Your heart is pounding like a throbbing drum, isn't it, Larry? You can feel death close, can't you?
What have you got to say to me?
I'm going to tell you a story. The story of a child who was brought up on this estate by a strange old woman, a conjure woman. In her head were all the black arts of the world. She taught him.
Why are you telling me this?
It amuses me to watch you a murderer, helpless and terrified. So terrified you can hardly breathe. I find it very exciting.
Then it was blood I found on my handkerchief.
Yes. It is one of the ways to gain complete power over a person.
And the tom-tom.
Another spell to make you do what I want.
And the murder of your sister? You want me to be the patsy for that?
You're beginning to understand. You see, Cassie and I inherited the estate. There's really not enough for both of us.
Then tell them I did it.
Yeah. And that I killed you in self-defense.
What are you looking at me that way for?
I was remembering something.
Remembering? Oh. That kiss faded, wasn't it? You're the devil, but still a woman, ain't you? You didn't forget that kiss, did you?
No.
Well, what are you going to do?
Come here. Closer.
Well,
don't move. There.
You're going to let me live?
Listen, it's my life against yours, you fool.
I'll put that gun down.
Well, I'm finished.
Please, give me a break. I'm begging you.
Begging you?
I'll do anything you say. Just give me a chance, please.
Here it comes, Larry, between your eyes.
How do you feel today, Gifford?
Much better, officer. Legs healing fine.
We checked that crazy story you told us. It's all true.
Tell me something. How'd you know to come to the Lucerne place when you did? You arrived just in time. A second later, and she would have killed me.
Kathy, your sister, phoned us, told us to come out. I came in the room and saw her threatening you with a gun. I shot at her. I had to. Got her in the shoulder.
Should have killed her.
State will take care of that.
Did you believe the story she told you at first? That I killed her sister and she was killing me in self-defense?
No. You see, Gifford, we found out that you weren't a murderer. You didn't kill Nancy Warren. The man who did that confessed. That made her whole story false.
How did she do it, Captain? How did she find out where I always went?
Police psychiatrist said she did it by post-hypnotic suggestion. She told you where to go while you were asleep, and you never realized that you were always doing just what you wanted.
But the bullets when I shot at her and tried to kill her, how'd she do that?
It was all carefully planned. The first shot she fired at you were real bullets. The others in the gun were blanks. She wanted to get you so thoroughly under her power that you think she couldn't be killed. You see, all this so-called black magic has an explanation.
Bessie. I wonder.
Oh, that black magic. I tell you what I'm going to do. Step Right this way, friends, and get yourself a post-hypnotic suggestion. Spell it backwards and you get murder. What's that? You can't spell. Ain't you lucky?
Talking of luck, Mr. Raymond, I think Larry Gifford was mighty lucky to escape that awful woman.
Oh, well, you see, Mary, it's very simple. He probably wore one of your good luck medallions.
Oh, now that's plain silly. A man wouldn't wear a medallion on a black rayon satin ribbon. It's the ladies who like jewelry. Yes, that's why I know that they'll appreciate this solid sterling silver medallion that the Lipton people want to send them. And, ladies, here's how you get it. Send just 25 cents, which includes tax and postage, with a box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92 in New York City.
The moral for tonight's assault on your nerves is never marry a dame who sucks blood out of your throat. Such dames give you a pain in the neck. By the way, this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel is The Red Right Hand by Joel Townsley Rogers. Yes, and don't you dare miss next week's story, directed by Hyman Brown and brought to you by Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup. Next week's story is about a pair of murderers who get scared to death. They're more frightened than the guy they're murdering. So if you hear some static on your radio next Tuesday, it'll just be their knees knocking together. Well, now I guess it's really time to close that there squeaking door, so good night, for real. Pleasant dreams.
Folks, the next time you send a box of food to your boy overseas, be sure to include a package or two of Lipton's Noodle Soup Mix. You see, Lipton's is just like a taste of home. It has the same homemade, chickeny taste as the soup you make yourself. The soup your boy's always been so fond of. That's why it's such a thoughtful, welcome little gift to send Lipton's. And as you know yourself, Lipton's Noodle Soup makes a grand snack. So remember, send a package or two to your boy. And remember to tune in next Tuesday night for another Inner Sanctum mystery.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Today's story, written and directed by Willis Cooper and featuring Ernest Chappell, is called Inquest. My name is William Ross, and I want to know why I'm here.
My dear Mr. Ross, in all cases of violent death, it is customary for an inquest to be held. Surely you know that, don't you?
And who are those people?
The jury, Mr. Ross. And if you're wondering, my office is that of coroner. Now, may we proceed, please?
Well, now, wait a minute. I want to know what these people are wearing those funny clothes for. They look more like a masquerade than a coroner's jury.
You are referring to the gentleman in kilt?
Well, him and the others, too. Well, who is he?
Will you identify yourself to Mr. Ross, please, sir?
My name is Duncan.
What's the idea of the Scotch outfit?
Sir, I'm a Scot. These are my usual garments.
Thank you, sir. You may be seated again. Mr. Ross?
I think it's a funny outfit to wear at a coroner's inquest.
Your garments may be quite as unusual to some of the members of the jury as theirs are to you, Mr. Ross.
I must look pretty funny, then.
That is a matter of opinion, Mr. Ross. Shall we begin?
I want counsel. A
That will not be necessary, sir. This is not a court of law, but an inquiring body whose function it is to determine the causes of death in the case.
Yeah, you find it was justifiable homicide, brother. I'm telling you.
We shall see. You were on bad terms with your sister and your brother-in-law?
They were on bad terms with me.
I see. This is a state of affairs that has existed for some time?
Long enough.
How long?
Since before she married him.
And they were married?
Just a few months. They'd been married just a few months when this thing happened.
When the murder took place. We call things by their right names here, Mr. Ross.
Well, you haven't proved anything yet.
We shall.
You'll find it was self-defense.
All in good time, Mr. Ross.
Well, you'll see. Go ahead. Go ahead, ask me questions.
Very well. You'll tell the truth, the whole truth.
And nothing but the truth. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sure.
I regret that it is impossible for us to call your sister and your brother-in-law as witnesses. So we shall have to depend upon your testimony completely.
Sure, yeah. I know.
But perhaps you can tell the jury something about the causes behind this ill feeling between you and your sister, Mr. Ross.
I certainly can.
Do so, please.
Well, it's pretty simple. Eileen was born in 1908, 2 years before me. There were just the two of us.
I understand your parents were wealthy, Mr. Ross.
Yes, they were. That's part of it, too.
I suspected it. Go on.
I haven't got any money. But what's he laughing at?
None of the people who come here to testify ever have any money, Mr. Ross, for one reason or another.
Well, that's not funny.
I agree with you, Mr. Ross. Kindly refrain from unseemly mirth, gentlemen. Go on, sir.
Well, our parents were drowned in the wreck of the Vestwood. When was that? 1927.
1928.
Yeah, that's right. 28. They left everything to us. Quite a lot of money.
Yes.
But there was a catch to it.
Address the jury, Mr. Ross.
What? Well, I said there was a catch in it. We weren't to get all the money right away. We were both underage, you see. Eileen was 20 and I was 18.
Will you speak up, please?
All right. We got $5,000 a year at first, and we were to get the rest of our shares when we came of age.
That was a considerable amount, Mr. Ross?
It was. So I was supposed to wait 3 years. Eileen got hers the next year in 1929. I had to wait.
Did you wait, Mr. Ross?
Yes. Well, I waited till Eileen got her share. I mean, after all, it was our money. It wasn't fair for Eileen to have that much and me not have a cent. Was it?
We're not here to judge such things, Mr. Ross. This is a coroner's jury.
Well, you see what I mean.
Go on, sir.
So I saw people making money that year hand over fist. All you needed to make money was some money to start with. And I didn't have any.
What about your $5,000?
I lost that.
Gentlemen.
Well, I borrowed money from her. I mean, I didn't borrow it either. I showed her how I could make a lot more money for her by just investing her money.
But I don't want any more money, William.
I told her if I had my money, I'd put it into investments and double it or triple it. But she just smiled at me. She had the most aggravating smile I've ever seen. No matter what I'd say, she'd shake her head and smile at me.
Was that when you forged her name, Mr. Ross?
I don't think that's for you.
Well, of course, I'm no judge. You promised to speak the truth, you know, Mr. Ross.
Well, I signed her name to a bank draft, sure. I was doing her a favor. I was going to make a lot of money for her.
Of course.
And I was going to have my money in another couple of years. There isn't anything wrong with that. After all, we were brother and sister. And it wasn't my fault the market crashed. Was it?
Of course not, Mr. Ross.
Well, of course it wasn't.
Just for the record, Mr. Ross, how much did she lose?
All her money. Well, not all of it right away. There was about $65,000 on the draft, you see, but when the market started to slip, there was margin that we had to get up, you see. I explained to her in words of one syllable how if we didn't put up margin, we'd lose everything we'd invested. Well, that's where the rest of it went.
Of course, you couldn't put up your own money.
How could I? It was tied up in government bonds and things like that for another year. I couldn't touch it. I explained that to her.
And she was still unreasonable.
Well, I should say she was.
A thief. A despicable thief.
Called me names.
Get out of here and never come back.
Tried to throw me out of her house.
Not even a place to live.
She changed her tune when I pointed out she didn't have a house to throw me out of, though. Oh, brother. Oh, was that a battle.
That was when when her arm was broken?
Well, how did I know she was going to fall down? I just gave her a little push, pushed her away from me.
Women are so delicate. It's too bad, though, really, that her arm was permanently deformed.
Yeah, it certainly was. But is that my fault? I offered not once but a dozen times to take her to a doctor and have the arm re-broken and set again. Could have been done very easy. Just re-break it and set it again. But what did she do?
No, William, I like it this way. This way, it's a reminder. It keeps me from forgetting. It stops hurting, William. It doesn't hurt at all.
Tell us, Mr. Ross, you received your share of the estate, all right?
Oh, sure. And you want to know something else? Just as soon as I got hold of my money,
You didn't reimburse your sister.
I did better than that. I took her in to live with me at my new house. I didn't charge her a cent.
She didn't have any money to pay you, did she?
No, but I let her be a kind of, a housekeeper, you see. I thought it'd make her feel better if she, sort of earned her keep.
I have no doubt.
And she had money whenever she wanted it, brother. She never had to ask me for a dime. Every week when I gave her the house money, there was always something extra for her. $5, $10, $20 sometimes. She had no kick coming.
Well, then I take it you feel she had no real reason to harbor a grudge against you.
I don't see why she should. But she did.
Amazing.
Well, I take that back. I guess she did have an excuse for a grudge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess she did. You know, about Arthur.
Arthur?
The guy she married.
Your brother?
No, that's right. Oh, that jerk. I didn't like him from the start.
So naturally you did your best to prevent their marriage.
Well, I was just thinking of her. What's your name?
Why, I'm the coroner, Mr. Ross. Don't you remember? This is an inquest.
Yes, but you must have a name. I can't just call you coroner, can I? Haven't you got a name?
Oh, yes, I have a name, Mr. Ross. We'll get to that. In the meantime, the jury is waiting to hear the rest of your testimony.
Oh, yes, the jury. I thought there were only supposed to be 6 people on a coroner's jury. More than 6 people over there.
Oh, yes. Well,
Those fellas in the masquerade costumes. Listen, coroner, what's the idea of all that? Looks awful phony to me.
Well, I assure you it's anything but phony, Mr. Ross.
You sure this is a coroner's jury? Not some gag you're rigging up to make me confess?
Confess what, Mr.
Well,
Ross?
Make me talk.
You are talking, Mr. Ross.
It's like a convention at a lunatic asylum. That Scotchman.
Scotsman, Mr. Ross.
Scotsman. And that fellow there in the bathrobe.
Well, they're the coroner's jury, Mr. Ross. I told you.
I never heard of people dressing up like that just to be on a coroner's jury.
This is your first experience with such a body, isn't it, Mr. Ross?
It certainly is.
Well, then we can forgive you for being unfamiliar with our procedures. Now, shall we get on with our inquest?
Well, this is on the up and up.
I assure you it is, sir. You said you objected to your sister's marriage.
I did?
Why?
For her own good. Here she was living in luxury.
Luxury?
What? Well, I'd call it luxury for somebody who didn't have a cent to her name, Mr. Coroner. She had a good home, her own room with a private bath even. She could use my car practically whenever she wanted to. She had good clothes. Where would she have been without me?
I was thinking of that.
I'll tell you where she'd have been. She'd have been in some charitable institution. Or she'd have been scrubbing floors or something.
Or she might have been... Well, let's not go into that.
Yeah, that's right. And so this Arthur came along. And she falls for him.
I love him.
A guy I detested on sight.
I love him.
A guy with no more money than she had.
I love him.
I told her flatly I wouldn't take him into my house.
We're not asking that, William. We're She'll be all right.
Said she'd be all right. How could she be all right? What would they live on?
You took my money and lost it, William.
Wanted me to give her money.
You stole my money.
Called me a thief.
We wouldn't need much.
I wouldn't give her a cent. I gave her a home. I took care of her. I'd have got that crooked arm of hers fixed up. Why, with that arm, she couldn't even do the housework decently. And then she has the crust to want me to set her and this Arthur of hers up in their own home. Support them, even.
Where did Arthur come from, Mr. Ross? Did you know him before?
Yeah, he was in the Army. I didn't know him.
You weren't in the Army, Mr. Ross.
No, I had a bad heart, you know.
Yes, I know.
I bought plenty of war bonds, though. Every week, $18.75, regular as clockwork. And this Arthur, he didn't buy war bonds. He was in the Army. Not that the Army wasn't all right, but some of the people they had in it.
Isn't there something about taking all kinds of people to make a world, Mr. Ross? I suppose that applies to Army, too.
Yeah, I suppose it does. But I don't want any part of that kind.
What was your objection to him?
Well, to begin with, he wanted to take my sister away from me. That was enough to set me against him. Then he didn't have any job or any prospects. And he didn't like me.
I can't understand that.
I wasn't going to have him upset my way of living. After all, I'd had Eileen there with me for, well, let's see, it was nearly 15 years. I was used to her.
Hadn't you ever had any idea of getting married yourself, Mr. Ross?
Me? I should say not. Why should I?
Yeah, I suppose you're right. After all, you had a housekeeper, someone you were used to. And I understand you were quite a ladies' man, too. Marriage might upset that, mightn't it?
Yeah, it certainly would.
Well, now, Mr. Ross, we have the background for this unfortunate occurrence, haven't we? Shall we get down to details now, if you're ready?
I'm all ready. Go ahead. Go on, ask me questions.
Well, I think we'd all rather have you tell the story in your own words, without prompting.
Well, say, listen.
Yes, Mr. Ross.
I didn't see all those other people before.
What other people?
I thought an inquest was a private thing. I didn't know you had an audience. Do I have to make a spectacle of myself in front of all those people?
Which people, Mr. Ross?
Those people back there behind your jury. Yeah, the shadow back there. There's millions of them, far as I can see. Who are they?
Oh, those people.
Yeah, who are they?
The people listening to you on the radio.
On the radio? Are we on the radio?
Didn't you know, Mr. Ross?
Well, I certainly did not.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I never heard of a coroner's inquest like this.
You said this is your first experience.
Yes.
But we're wasting time, Mr. Ross.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
We want to hear your story.
I've told it to you.
Not all of it. Come, Mr. Ross.
Listen.
Come, Mr. Ross.
Come where?
Over here to this microphone.
I won't do it.
Oh, yes, but you will.
I'm not going to talk to all those people.
Yes, you are. Stand up, Mr. Ross.
I've got my rights, you know.
We are very considerate of your rights, sir. Just step this way. Now, if you please, Mr. Ross.
Where do you want me?
Right here, if you please, Mr. Ross. You can speak into this microphone so the audience will hear you clearly.
I'm not going
not
to...
so close to the microphone, Mr. Ross. Now, sir, we will hear your story of that day. We shall supply you with sound effects if they are necessary, Mr. Ross. And we even have music for you to put you in the mood, you know.
Oh, I don't know what kind of monkey business this is.
An inquest, Mr. Ross. Simply an inquest at which you are the principal witness. You're on your own, Mr. Ross. A great many people are listening. Music, please. Go ahead, Mr. Ross.
Well, I told Eileen I wouldn't let her marry this Arthur. I told you that, didn't I? After all, I've taken care of Eileen for all those years. And I think it's very unfair of her to want to walk out on me after all I've done for her. She's got a good home. And you have to remember that she's a cripple. With that crooked arm of hers, what could she do? What kind of wife would she make? And she's 39 years old now. That's too old to start in married life. And this fellow out there he's nearly 10 years younger than she is. Not only that, but how is he going to make a living for her? Sure, he was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. He got a lot of medals. He was a Japanese prisoner and all that. But lieutenant colonels are a dime a dozen now. And he's got no money and no prospects. He probably thinks Eileen's got money. He thinks he's going to get some of that. Well, Eileen, hasn't got any money. It's my money. And she isn't going to get a cent of it. Unless I die before she does. And there's small prospect of that. So get out, Arthur, I said. Get out and stay out. And Eileen, you see that he stays out of my house. That's what I said. And I meant it. Well, he went. Eileen cried. Eileen is always crying. What's that? What's that noise?
That's a sound effect, Mr. Rose. Perhaps you'd better listen to it a moment.
Sounds like Eileen crying.
Listen, Mr. Rose.
I won't give you up, Arthur. I won't.
Can't be Eileen. You said that...
A sound effect, Mr. Ross. Listen.
Don't, darling. Don't be away up somehow. We'll work it out. You'll have to let
Oh, but Arthur, how can we? He's got to help us.
I know. Isn't there some way we can talk to him into doing something? He can't do this to you.
Darling, if he won't let me have some of the money he stole from me, how can we? Oh, I hate him. I hate him.
Did you recognize our sound effects, Mr. Ross?
I don't know how you did that.
Well, that isn't important, Mr. Ross. You did recognize it, didn't you?
Certainly I did. That was 3 weeks ago. That was the day that... Well, that was the day I really went into action.
You remember?
I came into the room. Eileen was sitting with her back to me. She didn't see me. Arthur was facing me. Eileen didn't hear me come in the room, and of course he couldn't see me. And...
perhaps you'd better explain to our radio audience why Arthur didn't see you, Mr. Ross, if he was facing you.
Oh, sure. Didn't I say he was blind? I walked right up to him before he saw me. Hate me, I said. And she jumped up in front of me. I'll show you, I said, and I reached out for him. He got to his feet, and he was turning his head looking for me, but he couldn't see me. I grabbed him with the collar. I'll show you, I said, and she leaped at me. See those marks on my face? Her fingernails. And she kept screaming.
Hate you, hate you, hate you.
He got an arm around her, and he tried to pull her away. And we struggled, and I started pushing him toward the door, and she grabbed up a heavy ashtray and struck at me with it.
And you grabbed her arm?
Well, I couldn't help it if it was her bad arm, could I?
Of course not, Mr. Ross. And, of course, Arthur couldn't see you.
How could he? He was making passes in the air trying to find me.
And you knocked him down.
And threw him out. Next time I'll kill you, I said.
You shouldn't have said that, you know, Mr. Ross.
I know.
It could be used against you.
Well, I had to protect myself. Well, all right. I figured I'd fix that. I got the doctor for Eileen. She wasn't hurt bad. She just fainted when her arm got twisted. And she wouldn't speak to me. Stayed in her room. That house was an inch deep in dust. Dishes weren't washed. No groceries. Wouldn't come out of her room. I was pretty sore. I've got a violent temper, you know. I don't brood about things. I do something about them. Well, I let her stay in her room. And then finally I got tired of it. I went upstairs one morning with blood in my eye. I hammered on her door. I said, "Open up that door, Eileen." There wasn't any answer. I hammered some more. She still didn't answer, and I said, "Eileen, open up that door. I'll break it down." I said, "I'll take the cost of fixing it out of your allowance, too." And there still wasn't any answer, so I got back and I slammed my shoulder against it, and Then the second time, the lock broke and I fell into the room.
And she wasn't there?
That's right. She wasn't there.
But the note was.
That's right. The note. She'd skipped out on me. She'd married that Arthur. That blind man. I thought I'd die right then and there.
You didn't, though.
No, but I thought I was going to. When I found she got into my safe, I'd forgotten she knew the combination.
How much was missing?
$15,000 in bonds. She stole it.
How much did you get from her that other time?
Well, that was different. This was stealing.
I see.
Well, I hunted high and low for her. I hired detectives, and they cost plenty, too. I didn't find her. I thought they'd be easy to find a blind man and a woman with a crooked arm, but they weren't. I used to lie awake nights thinking of what I'd do to them when I found them.
You're making some very damaging statements, Mr.
So I am. So what? We'll see whether it was justifiable homicide or what. Well, they came back. I was all alone. They knew I'd be alone.
Was that the day, Mr. Ross?
Yeah, that's right. They came in. Eileen still had her key. I didn't know they were there till she spoke from the doorway of the living room.
We'd come back with you.
And he was with her, standing grinning behind her in the hall. Grinning, he thought, at me, at his new brother-in-law. His face was turned in the wrong direction. Blind men give me the creeps. She came in the room and she put out her hands to me and she smiled.
Aren't you going to congratulate us?
And my head began to swim and the light in the room seemed to turn red and I staggered as I got up out of the chair and then she backed away from me and I heard him talking dimly.
What's the matter, dear? William, what's the matter?
The room began whirling around faster and I tried to speak but I got kind of mumbled and Eileen yelled.
William!
And I reached for that fool Arthur's throat. Yes, I did. Listen to me. As I reached for his throat, I saw Eileen out of the corner of my eye, and she was picking up an old-fashioned dirk that was on the coffee table that used to belong to my grandfather. We used it for a paper knife. She was running at me, and I was trying to hold on to Arthur, and she stabbed at me, and I couldn't let go of him because he was struggling, and she cut my hand. Didn't I tell you it was self-defense? And she kept striking at me, and I grabbed the dirk out of her hand, and Arthur was kicking me, and I got the dirk, and I heard Eileen scream, and there was a great red flash in my mind, and... Well, that's all. So, that's the story, Mr. Coroner. Next thing I remember is sitting in that chair over there with your jury and your radio audience staring at me. So, go on, let's hear your verdict. Go on, let's hear it from your masquerade party jury. Go on!
Very well, Mr. Ross. Your Majesty?
Majesty? What's this?
King Duncan of Scotland is foreman of our jury, Mr. Ross.
There isn't any King
If
Duncan.
you will please to remember, Mr. Ross, Duncan of Scotland was foully murdered by a certain Macbeth many the long year ago.
Yes, Mr. Ross. And the gentleman in what you termed a bathrobe died at the hand of a friend named Brutus.
Aye, and the gentleman in the red cap was done to death by a slip of a girl named Charlotte Corday in 1794.
What are you talking about, you...
Yes, Mr. Ross, these gentlemen are your peers. All murder victims at one time or another.
What kind of a masquerade?
I assure you, this is no masquerade, Mr. Ross. Just one thing. Your sister and your brother-in-law did not die.
Well, then, what's all this about?
Your Majesty, the verdict, if you please.
Guilty of murder, Mr. Coroner.
Murder? But you said they didn't die.
No, Mr. Ross. They didn't. But you did. Your heart, remember? And now I think you are my property, sir.
You have listened to Inquest, a Quiet Please story written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And James Van Dyke played the coroner. King Malcolm was Pat O'Malley. Eileen was played by Sylvia Cole. And Arthur was John Morley. Music was composed and played by Gene Carrazzo. Now, for a word about next week's Quiet Please story, here is our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Next week's story is the adventure of a writer and the characters that he creates. It's called Bring Me to Life.
And so, until next week, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
This program came to you from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour. Assignment Death. I'm Dick Ryan. Maybe you've read some of my stories in a certain national picture magazine. Well, here's a scoop that never got in. One editor and two vice presidents fainted at the thought. Like I told my boss, horror doesn't always come wrapped up in a haunted house with the wind howling outside. Sometimes it walks along behind you, breathes down your neck, and whispers something about a slug of lead in your back. And the few gray hairs that staff photographer Ellen Maitland and I got out of it didn't come from lack of vitamins. It was late afternoon when Ellen and another photographer, Larry Nelson, came into my office. I remember that I was busy at the time.
Dick, will you please stop typing and listen to me?
Another time, Ellen. I've got to get the story out.
Dick, you've got to help me get a picture of Mike Velvetto, the gangster.
Are you crazy? Is she kidding me, Larry?
Well, it's this way, Dick. Boss wants to feature story on what's happened to all the old public enemies. He's got photos of every last one of them except Velvet.
Can't you see what a feather would be in my cap, Dick?
There isn't a newspaper Morgantown has anything on him.
Of course not, Larry. Pictures of Velvet don't land in the morgue. It's the people who take them. This baby is no retired gangster.
See, Ellen? Told you Dick was a friend of his.
No, not exactly. I dug up some stuff in one of his rackets and handed it over to the DA's office.
But Larry said Mike Velvetto likes you. How come?
Well, he wriggled out of his charges easy enough. He thought it was a big joke and told everybody he admired my spirit.
And he called Dick to his headquarters and offered him a job as one of his boys.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. What a strange man.
You can't help liking Velvet. That's the danger. But he's poison just the same.
Well, Dick, I'm going to get his picture whether you help me or not.
Well, if that's the way you feel, Ellen, I guess I'll have to go along. You'll do it my way?
Of course. Oh, I knew you'd help me, Dick. You're wonderful.
Wait and see. If we leave now, we'll be there just after dark. Get the camera, Ellen, and don't bring something too conspicuous.
I won't. We'll go just as soon as I come back, huh?
I'm coming along, Dick. Do you think this is dangerous?
There's one way it might be done, Larry. You'll have to help me with my plan. It'll be dangerous enough if we succeed. If we fail, It'll be just plain murder. Up your coats, boys and girls. This is it.
This old garage, Mike Velvetto can't be very successful.
You're going to get the surprise of your life in through this door. Get ahead.
I don't like the way those mechanics look at this.
Pay no mind, pal. It's the camera Ellen's staring that's got him stumped. You know, Velvet lives in the penthouse on top of this building, but he has his office back there.
Would you look at that character lounging by the door?
When, oh, where have I seen that tight-fitting coat, that pull-down hat?
That is Rosie. If you think that bulge in his pocket is a harmonica, think again.
I don't like this place.
You just take your picture and keep your temper, baby. Hi, Rosie. Velvet in? It's all right, kid. Relax.
Thanks, loudmouth. I'm a nervous type. That a camera?
Guessed it the first time, Rosie. Tell Velvet Dick Ryan's here with a couple of friends.
Why not? Tell a dame them things smash easy.
He warned Velvet by pushing that buzzer. The door opens electrically.
I don't think I like Rosie.
I don't think Rosie likes you. Keep thick, Ellen. Be polite and keep your temper.
You two must think I'm red-headed. I'm sorry. That's the second time.
The chief says okay. Let the dame come first.
Go ahead, Ellen. I think Rosie wants to frisk us. We're clean as a whistle.
Please, Rosie. Those are my friends.
I'm sorry, kid. You can frisk us some other time. Hello there, Velvet.
Delighted to see you again, Dick, my friend.
I'd like you to meet a couple of colleagues, Ellen Maitland and Larry Nelson.
How do you do?
We were going by. We thought we'd drop in.
But of course. Perhaps a little drink of something?
No, thanks.
No? I see you like my office, Miss Mason.
Why, I'm speechless, Mr. Velvetto. It's beautiful. I never dreamed.
That's such a rough exterior. I know. Deception is my business.
Oh, but these pictures, they're the real thing, not reproductions. Look, Larry.
Yes, I noticed the minute I came in. Mr. Velvetto must be something of a collector. In a modest way. Oh, I see you've noticed that daub in back of my desk, Mr. Nelson. Hideous, isn't it? A fine example of non-objective art. Well, certainly. I don't go for lines, planes, colors all thrown together without any meaning. But that picture has a special meaning for my associates. You see, Mr. Nelson, it fronts a wall safe, which very often contains large sums of money. That they appreciate. But I thought of myself while Miss Maitland is anxious to take my picture.
Oh! Well, you guessed it, Velvet. I know how you feel, but she insisted. And then your reputation for never refusing a beautiful woman.
How well you know me, Dick. Well, I shall sit here behind my desk and look like a successful merchant. Please, Rosie. We should have explained to him that Miss Maitland was reaching in her pocket for a flash bulb.
Oh, I had forgotten that Rosie was still with us.
That is one of his virtues. So unobtrusive.
The nervous type is always dangerous, though, don't you think, Velvet? I'll just sit here out of the way until Ellen steps.
I see our charming friend is ready. Well, I shall continue to talk so that we shall have a more informal study.
Okay.
Well, over so soon?
I'm sorry if the flash bulb blinded you. One shot Ellen, they call me.
A lovely camera. May I see it?
That is, well, you see, Mr. Velvetto, I don't...
Let him, sister.
Don't be afraid, Ellen. Velvet hates violence.
You're afraid I'll smash your camera?
What?
No, nothing of the sort. I'm curious to see if it came out well. We'll open the bag.
Oh, please. Oh, now you've ruined the negative.
Oh, you mean the light? Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry, Miss Maitland. I simply don't have any understanding of these things. If I've spoiled it, I must pay you.
But you did it on purpose. You let me take it and then...
Temper, baby.
I don't blame her in the least. Here, Miss Maitland, I must pay. I insist.
Oh, no, thank you.
You might as well take it, Ellen. You'll hurt his feelings. Well, we'll be running along. Nice to see you, Velvet.
Goodbye.
I'll see him out, Chief. No hard feelings, I hope. You must drop in again. I'll not be so clumsy next time you take my picture, Miss Mason.
Yes, I bet he won't. Well, thank you, Rosie. Give my love to the wife and kids.
Velvet soft, Ryan. I ain't. Keep your nose clean, loudmouth.
Excellent advice, Rosie. You needn't see us to the street. Come on, Ellen.
I'm looking forward to that street, am I saying? How about you, Ellen?
I'm furious with the both of you. I'll never speak to either of you again, letting me make a fool of myself like that.
What, Ellen? You didn't actually think you'd let you shoot him without a squawk.
Now, hold that until we get out. Okay, ladies before gents. Did you get it, Larry? And it passed off when Rosie started to frisk her. She found that candid camera under my coat.
You mean you had a midget concealed that you got the...
Ellen, of course. How else? I watched you, synchronized it with your flash. You held his attention. I got the picture.
Well, just because we came back to the office doesn't mean you have to work, Dick Ryan.
Now, there's nothing we can do until Larry gets that developed and tries an enlargement.
He's had enough time. He could come back here with us.
Now, look, Ellen, his apartment darkroom is the safest place for that negative. This has got to be a secret for a while, remember?
Well, that's all right with me. And I'm still mad, Dick. Why in the world didn't you tell me?
Because it wouldn't have been as convincing. No act in the world could have had that ring of sincerity, Ellen. Wow, talk about registering disappointment and rage.
Let's change the subject. What if you didn't fool him?
Then the three of us had better pack our... Oh, good. Now, let's see Larry now. Hello.
Hi, Dick. Tell Ellen she's got a picture. Couldn't have been better.
Good and clear? What about enlarging?
Every detail. Just what I wanted. I'm going back to my dark room now and really blow it up. You'll want to come up. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Thought I heard someone come in. But... No. Don't, please.
Larry, all right?
Is something wrong?
Yeah. Come on, we've got to get to Larry quick. It's backfired, Ellen. We didn't fool anybody but ourselves.
Look, Ryan, I'm only a copper, not a mind reader. If Elvis behind this, like you say, you've seen the last of his friend.
There's no question who did it, Lieutenant, but if Larry's still alive, we've got to get to him.
If he was alive when he went out of here, he ain't now. I know that, Mob. We'll probably find him at the bottom of the river in a few days.
You got here before we did. Wasn't there any...
You saw everything we did. One bloody print on the floor near the phone. From what you say, this gorilla probably sliced him with his gun butt and then went after that picture.
And Larry came too, and... You suppose they took him to question him?
Why not? You say the three of you were in on it. Only it was a revolver shot that made the neighbors call us. Sounds like curtains to me.
I didn't hear any shot over the phone.
Because that punk pulled the wires out. Here comes your young lady.
Dick, it's awful. It looks as though a cyclone hit Larry's dark room.
Yeah, I know. Rosie sure messed it up. No sign of the picture, of course.
No. Dick, if you don't mind, I'd rather not stay here any longer.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Let's go. Thanks for letting us look around, Lieutenant. We'll be at the office tomorrow if you want us.
Well, if I got your story straight, it might be smart for you and the young lady to kind of keep out of sight for a while.
Yes, you can depend on that. I know how Rosie works.
We'll pull him in. Give him a going over. Of course, the story isn't exactly proof, but it might give Velvet ideas.
Such as shutting us up.
Oh.
Well, pleasant dreams, Lieutenant. Come on, Ellen.
Oh, Dick, I feel sick. About Larry, I mean.
Yeah, me too. Let's walk down. It's only one flight.
All right.
You know, they could have carried Larry down the fire escape and back.
Dick, do you really think he's still alive?
I wish to heaven I... Oh, for Pete's sake, why kid myself? No, I don't.
And you think you're in terrible danger, don't you?
Now, don't let the lieutenant scare you, baby. If Velvet's got the negative back now, I don't...
But we were in on it just as much as Larry.
That doesn't seem fair. He should take the rap, does it?
Certainly doesn't.
Well, let's grab a cab. I'll take you home. There's one right there at the corner. Back into the hall, Ellen, quick. That's back against the wall. It was that cab. The shot came from that cab.
What can you do?
We're all right now, Ellen. We're all right now.
We're being hunted, Dick. Velvet's after us. What about tomorrow?
Just keep your fingers crossed and pray the guy was wrong who said tomorrow never comes.
Hello, this is Marvin Miller with another page from your American Heritage scrapbook. Sell the cook stove if necessary and come to Chicago. You must see this fair. A pretty compelling message, isn't it? Well, that's what one of the 27 million visitors to Chicago's Columbian Exposition of 1893 wrote to his parents. The exposition was described as a dream in plaster. The dream was born in 1891 when 15 of America's foremost architects, sculptors, painters, and landscape planners met in Chicago to design a world's exposition commemorating the 400th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of a new world. It took a near miracle to transform the 650 acres of lakefront property into landscape parks and islands with lagoons to mirror the 14 white plaster exposition palaces. But it was done. The World's Columbian Exposition was dedicated on October 12, 1892, but construction delays kept the general public away until May 1, 1893. President Grover Cleveland was there for the official opening. For 6 months, 150,000 visitors a day were treated to the marvels of the fair. They came from all over the world to see the many wonders, such as a 12-foot statue made of pure silver from the mining state of Montana, California's exhibit of a mounted knight in full armor made entirely of prunes, the Pillar of Light in the Palace of Electricity, which gave many their first view of Thomas Edison's incandescent miracle, a 264-foot wheel designed by George Washington Gale Ferris, from which 60 persons, riding in the wheel's 36 big cars, could look down on the exposition's midway and see the exhibits of the 77 countries represented, the minarets of Persia, the camels of Egypt, the pagodas of Japan. This was the Columbian Exposition, a miniature world built on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Dick Ryan back again, sadder and wiser, and no wonder. I'd helped Ellen Maitland get her picture of Maestro Vedo, the gangster, all right. We let Ellen go through the motions while Larry Nelson actually did the job with a candid camera hidden under his coat. He called us later from his apartment to tell us it was a perfect shot. And a moment later, I heard the fear in his voice as Rosie slugged him. One look at his wrecked darkroom and the spot of blood near his telephone, and we didn't need the police to tell us the negative was gone and Larry would probably be found in the river the next day. And it didn't take pot shots from a passing taxi to let us know Ellen and I were next on Velvet's list. You have to live the nightmare of being on the wrong end of a manhunt to feel the horror of it. You don't feel like going home to bed. You get a craving for light, bright light, and for people. Lots of people. That's why Ellen and I picked a well-lighted eating joint for a snack before I took her home.
Let's sit at the counter, Dick, near the door.
Okay. Well, let's take a peek at the menu. What's the matter with you, Ellen?
Look in that mirror. The reflection of that man back there. Dick, he's one of those men from Velvet's garage.
Well, you're crazy, Ellen. He didn't follow.
Well, let's get out of here, Dick. I'm scared.
All right. Straight for the door, and don't look back.
I don't have to. He got up when we did.
Never mind that. We'll lose him in the crowd. Come on.
Don't walk so fast, Dick. I can't keep up with you.
We may have imagined that man was following us, Ellen. At the same time, I don't like getting out of the crowd.
We turn left here, Dick.
Oh, you would live on one of these quiet side streets, way down the end, I suppose.
That's right. The end house on the other side of the street.
All right, come on. Let's cross. The light's with us.
Look out, Dick. There's a car coming right through that red light.
Don't stop, Ellen. Keep going. Come on, run. How do you like? He missed us by 2 feet.
Crazy drunken driver?
Drunk nothing. That car was parked at the intersection waiting for you to come home. Our pal Velvet sure means business.
Dick, I don't want to go home. I won't. Velvet knows where I live. The car waiting to run us over proves it. Maybe somebody's waiting in my apartment in the dark.
You've got to snap out of this, Ellen.
Well, let's try to get back to the office. We'll sit up the rest of the night. Please, Dick. I'll feel better when it's daylight.
That's what I thought, but daylight didn't help. In fact, we felt even more out in the open. That's the terror of being hunted. It grows like some clinging, choking weed. We set out for breakfast, and neither of us left the editorial offices until I ducked out for a shave about noon. But when the barber lifted the razor and I got the shakes, I knew that was the breaking point.
I'm so glad you came back, Dick. I don't think I can stand this any longer. I jump when anyone speaks. I watch strangers.
You don't have to tell me, Ellen. I know. I decided to have it out with Velvet. I'd rather look down Rosie's automatic than sit around waiting for it.
What are we going to do?
I'm going to Velvet, lay my cards on the table, and try to talk him out of it.
Well, I'm going with you, and don't you try to stop me.
As far as the drugstore across from his place, Ellen. You wait there, keep in the open with people around you. If I don't show up in half an hour, then the police will really have something to work on.
idea, Dick. I already know your whole story. The police paid me a little visit this morning. In fact, Rosie here was just released.
And who's saying to the coppers, Chief? This loudmouth. Give me 10 minutes with him, Velvet.
Now, Rosie, Mr. Ryan, is a friend of mine. Aren't you, Dick?
Now, look, Velvet, I was a fool to trick you, a slobbering idiot, I admit it. But I came here of my own free will.
Please, not so excited, my friend. I'd forgive you, except for the little matter of the police.
If Larry's still alive, Velvet, it's not too late. Maybe you can square yourself. But if you've killed him...
Larry is still alive. You can depend on it.
Well, then, for heaven's sakes, call off your thugs and forget it ever happened.
Still, Dick, I do not like having this picture of me floating around.
What? You mean Larry got away with it? You haven't got him?
Listen, loudmouth, we ain't got nobody.
Ungrammatic, but true.
Well, that makes it different. In that case, I'm telling you, Velvet, lay off me. Ellen Maitland is waiting for me nearby. If I'm not back, she'll buzz the cops again.
The nice young lady with the camera? Where is she?
You think I'm crazy enough to tell you?
I think you're crazy not to. But it doesn't matter. Since the police, one of my boys has been tailing you. You know.
If anything happens to that girl...
You're a bigger fool than I thought, Ryan. As my guest, you're perfectly safe. But to leave this girl outside...
I don't know why you're lying, Velvet. But don't tell me that you can't control your triggerman.
This man's a fool, Rosie. Let me have your gun. And find that stool pigeon who was here last night. You know the one I mean.
Sniffy, the little junkie?
Yeah, that one. I have a job for him.
Save some of the loudmouth for me, boss.
Well, Velvet, I didn't know you went in for handling a rod.
I'll admit it is distasteful. But you're so stupid, Dick. Come, I must lock you up. A few hours thinking will do you good. Now it's my turn to play the tricks.
I really sweated out that afternoon. Hours went by and no Ellen. For a minute, when I heard Larry had gotten away, I thought we had the upper hand. But by evening, I was fit to be tied. First, I heard the key in the lock.
You, loudmouth. Come on.
If anything's happened to Ellen, Rosie, I'll get you and Velvet if it's the last thing I do.
I'm frightened. Why should we hurt the dame?
You had a couple of good tries at it last night.
Right, boy. Come on, get in the elevator.
Elevator? You mean that...
You've seen him before. Get in. We're going down to Velvet's office behind the garage.
Is Ellen there?
You'll see. Hold out your hand.
Handcuffs. All the modern equipment, that kid. Self-service elevator to the private office, handcuffs. You got a gas chamber down there?
Shut up. Hold your hand still. Maybe you're one of Velvet's favorite characters. You ain't mine.
I'm not impressed with Velvet's hospitality, Rosie. I must have been locked up there hours. What time is it?
9. All right, no tricks now.
Ellen.
Dick.
They found you. You all right?
Of course I am, Dick. But I've been worried sick about you. They told me if I didn't come with them.
Yeah, I know, honey, I know. It's one of Velvet's bright ideas.
But you're handcuffed. Dick, they hurt you.
Break it up, lovebirds. Nobody ain't been hurt yet. Sit down here, loudmouth. You there, sister?
Well, this sort of looks like it, Ellen. Now you see how handy it is to have a garage outside your office. I wonder if they can spare the gas to take us for a ride.
Button my lip, right, boy. I don't like that kind of talk.
Velvet had me locked up for a long time, and then he asked me to do the strangest thing that he told me...
Look, sister, this is Velvet's party. He'll do the talking.
Maybe that's him now.
Just quiet, both of you. I get paid for opening doors. It's okay, Chief.
Hold it, Rosie. Don't move. It'll be a pleasure to shoot you. Step back now.
Larry, no. They didn't kill you.
Larry, I'll be glad to see you.
For heaven's sakes, boy, you all right?
Sure, fine. Keep your hand away from that pocket, Rosie.
Just come in time, Larry. How'd you get away from them last night?
No questions now, Ellen. Look, Larry, I don't know what's up, but we got to move fast. Velvet's around somewhere. I got a feeling he was just about to move us out of here.
Sit tight, Dick. I'll take care of everything. This mug.
Larry, did you have to do that?
I've been itching to put him out cold ever since yesterday.
Well, it's done now, Larry. Take the key out of his pocket and get these cuffs off me.
Keep your shirt on, Dick. I want to take a look at that safe.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Larry, you don't have time for that.
I happen to know there's a fortune in cash in there this minute, right behind this picture.
Listen, pal, you're nuts. Now leave it on the wall.
Non-objective art, huh, Ellen? You might like to take a good look at it. In order to win a velvet, to have the combination work right into the design of that thing?
Are you serious, Larry?
Wait and see, baby. I've got that combination now. I'll have it open in a second.
Oh, you're kidding, Larry. fooling around with that safe when it's a matter of life and death. Cut it out.
Not me, brother. Not after I went to the trouble of getting a photo of that painting to enlarge and study.
You got the combination from that picture yesterday? But I thought
Oh, sure. You thought we were taking a picture of Velvet.
Well, no wonder Velvet was hunting us. If he knew you had that combination, Larry.
Wise up, chump. Velvet hasn't been hunting you. He saved your lives by keeping you hidden this afternoon. I've been hunting you.
No. Oh, Larry, no. Those shots that touched me.
You gave me a lot of trouble, Ellen. Don't edge up, Dick. You wouldn't want this gun to go off.
I'm not, Larry. I still don't believe it. You're sick. You're out of your mind. I heard you over the phone when Rosie attacked you.
Little death scene for your benefit, Dick. I knew you'd spill the story to the cops. And when I got rid of you, too, Velvet will be a stint to be blamed for your killing.
But we're your friends, Larry. Why would you want to kill us?
You were the only ones who knew I had the picture. You'd have figured out that I cracked his safe once the story hit the papers.
I see. You still plan to kill us and let Rosie take the rap?
Uh-huh. That's right. Now, just stand where you are where I can see you while I'm opening the safe.
Let him, Dick. Let him open the safe.
Very kind of you, Ellen. Now, true to the left. I appreciate both of you helping me get this combination. One to the simple as can be. Just open the door and help myself like... Out my eyes!
It's the flash bulb I put in the safe, Dick. It's blinded him.
Don't make a move, either of you. I've still got this gun. This will wear off in a minute.
Look out, Dick. There's Velvet. He's going to shoot.
Oh.
Okay, Velvet, you got him. He dropped the gun.
It was getting awfully stuffy hiding in the closet. And I suppose it wasn't very sporting of me to shoot a man who was temporarily blinded.
Larry, it's all right. You just winged him in the shoulder.
My shooting's really improving. Now let's all be very calm. How do you feel, Mr. Nelson?
Not so good.
Well, we'll fix your shoulder. And as for the effect of the flash bulb...
Hey, now, wait just a minute. What is a flash bulb doing in that safe?
I put it there, Dick. The camera, too. Velvet made me do it, but he wouldn't tell me why.
My dear Ellen, wouldn't you have believed me if I'd told you your friend Larry was trying to kill you?
How in the world did you know Larry was after us?
I knew my boys weren't, and that Rosie hadn't killed him. If he'd staged a phony death, he had to be up to something. When the police revealed he'd taken a picture in here, it meant he had my combination.
Well, that was the neatest trick of the week. I've got to thank you for saving our lives, Velvet.
All I did was have a certain stool pigeon notify Larry that you were being held in my office, that I was out of town, and that the contents of the safe were worthwhile.
You aren't going to do anything to him, are you?
My dear Ellen, do you think I'm a gangster? Larry has a picture of me. I have one of him opening my safe. Why should anyone object to a little business-like discussion?
I think the police might object to attempted murder.
That you can't prove without me, Dick, so I suggest you forget it. If Larry is willing, he can go to work for me.
Work for you, nothing. From now on, Larry is going to work for the warden.